Okay. Alarm's going off. I guess that means it's time to start putting this thing together. Let's see if I can get the comments going. There. Sure, that's a possessive. Is this going to work? There we go. All right. Okay, let's take a look at this. Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. I'm just remembering there's other people that I should have sent this out to. And I'm very forgetful and very forgetful and evil person. Okay. Okay. All right. The moonshine soaked cherries, also a great Father's Day gift I got. Yum. Hopefully that will make the evening pass more smoothly. Oh, first things first, I learned from my last one. Just to give you I did put one of these things together before. I'm not saying it was the most awesome build ever, but I wouldn't do something like this the first time and just throw it at you people. And by you people, I mean you people. But I just want to make sure that I get my. There we go. Keep an eye on comments here. All right. In case there's anybody watching. Instructions. Oof, boy. What I learned from the last one is pay attention because you never know. What's our guy camera pointed at here? I'll make sure. Get this nice little target in the middle of my cutting mat here. Okay, what do we got? We got some. These better be stickers. If these are water slide versus the last one, that's going to be over. Okay. All right. OW2, tree E1, tree F. I'm not going to try to go fast, but I don't want it to take forever. Tree A1, H3, okay, and D1, okay, gotcha. Yeah, some stuff might end up falling over. My desk is on a an incline a little bit. For the rare times that I'm actually drawing on it, I don't like to set the thing. I don't like to make it like raise and lower it. If it was motorized, that would be different. I would just click a button, D2, A2. Okay. Wow. Something tells me this one's going to be more complicated than the last one. Man. Okay. Yeah, PE. Okay, so joints and B1. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay attention. And these are my favorite parts on these. You know, full disclosure, I had a copy of Gundam Wing for the PS2 a long time ago. I did really like that game. I don't know what I was thinking whenever. Probably had something to do with the amount of money that I had to upgrade with, which wasn't much. So I did a trade-in / pay some money and upgrade to the next system. But all the good games were on the PS2. All the good games were on the PS2. It's like, the earlier the version of the video game, the more they would concentrate on like playability, like Battlefield. Man, was that awesome for okay. Stop talking, find the tree. Parts list, got it. E1. All right, let's get on this. D, B. Come on. B2. This ain't hardly right. This shouldn't take this long. I'm sure this is all going to become more and more familiar as time goes by. Really? It's the last one I have to look for? Okay. E1, 4. Here we go. Okay. And E1, 4. Looks like these are the same, and make sure that I'm looking at that thing there. Okay. So Father's Day was pretty good. This is not something that I got for Father's Day. What I did end up getting was a pizza stone for the grill, which I think is, it's a fine gift my oldest daughter got me, and I'm thinking it's actually more of a left-handed gift for the wife, because although I'm not opposed to making pizza on the grill, it's going to be the wife that asks me to make pizza on the grill. Also not a bad thing, provided I'm asked to do so in an, like when I'm able to. Like stop me in the middle of the thing I'm doing. Sorry, I'm not even on the right spot here. All right. I'm taking parts off that I shouldn't take off. Let's get this figured out. All right. Yada yada yada. I got it. Basic body. Blah blah blah. Okay. It looks like this is where I need to start here. So I'm going to save these two. I'm going to put them off to the side because that was early. So anyways, yeah, you're not dealing with the regular me. You're dealing with the, should he even be doing something like this at this point? Cherries. Yum, yum, yum. Moonshine cherries. A2. I'm putting this aside because I'm way early on that. A1. Why do they have to go like A1 and A2? There's a whole lot of many more letters in the alphabet. A2. 25, 26, 31. 31. Okay. $25, 26, 31. Boy, I hope I don't screw this up on live. On the tubes. That would be wrong. The opposite of right. Okay. And just the way that they have these things connected to the trees, it's you have to like stop and think about it. It's not like you're just putting like a regular model together. There are mechanics involved, and if you clip one of these finer points a little too close, you actually might end up clipping off a hinge or something like that. I'm not a professional model maker. This is just something I thought would be fun to do on stream. So there. Okay, blah, 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 yada, yada. Come on, get off of there. All right. And if anybody shows up in the green room, I will leave the table, walk the 2.5 to 3 feet over to the computer, and let them in. All right. All right. Wow. Boy, these are detailed. I want to go this way, this way. Okay, this goes, all right, all right, all right, gotcha. Goes here. This goes here. This goes here. I'm pretty sure that's how that goes. These are good, like detailed instructions, but you really, it's a, okay, just, stop and make sure that you got the right, you got the right thing. Okay. D1, B, it's going to be gray. D1, 22, 23, gotcha. I see them right here. Don't hit the floor. Go. Get that off of there. So I hope everybody's Father's Day was really good. All right. So the caps go together like this. Bend. Nice. Good joint there. And then we want this guy to be on top, 22. Oh, D1, 18. Let's get that out of there. Sorry, my head's hitting the camera. D1, 18. This guy right here. Ribs. 2 racks on the gas grill. That was not unlike the pizza stone, purchased as a Father's Day gift, so that when certain people want something grilled, they get something grilled. This year, it's going to be pizza that gets grilled, and we made a set of ribs. They didn't suck. That's how I like to put it. I'm not going to say that I'm like the most awesome rib maker ever, cooker type guy, but yeah, they didn't suck. I got some good advice from some good friends on how to do good ribs. And did I get this right? I'm thinking this goes in here. Yep. Little ball joint in there. Okay. And we put that aside. B1 part 5. B, F, U. It's got to be this. B1. Where the hell is B1? I got B2, F. Somebody out there watching this saw me just miss it altogether. D1, A2. Oh, it's got to be up here. B1. Okay. B1, 5. All right, let's get the B1, 5. They're throwing some different things at me here. I've got 3 different parts from, 3 different trees. Boy, these Neo Zeons. They ain't like the regular Gundams. Regular Gundams are a little easier. Okay, this is going to be more complicated. So there, PC, that's going to be a joint. This soft, nice, plasticky, rubbery polyethylene. PC8 looks like. Is there anything in the way here? Doesn't look like there's anything in the way, but you never know. Okay. All right. So PC8 and then D21. This is going to be D121. That's D2. No, that's not it. A. D121. This guy. Who's out there? Cool Frog, what's up, man? I just looked at the comments right there. I'm building a model. I'm building a. I got a cool Gundam right here, and I'm building the this really cool red looking dude that. What does he look like? Yeah. This guy, building this guy to go up against him. Gundams, of course. I tried watching one of these movies the other day, and it was okay, but it was very soap opera-y, and they have a tendency to I don't know, they're just too much story, not enough action. Looks like that goes in there, and then we get this guy up at the top. And I gotta tell you though, the brains that go into making these things work, there is a full size working Gundam in Japan. Okay, so we got these 2 parts figured out. A2. There I go, hitting the camera with my head again. A2, E2. There's no way this is that. C, B, H, B, D, D. Come on, where is it? All right. A230. Again, I'm going to be reaching across a bunch of different trees. A230 blank. Wow. Okay. Let's shave this off a little bit. Those tabs on there. Dirty tabs. So yeah, grilled 2 racks of ribs. It took about 4 hours just to get them right. Turned out okay. Killer mac and cheese baked that the wife threw down with, and then my daughter made the baby who's going to be getting her permit test tomorrow. Made an Oreo peanut butter pie type thing, and it was really, we'll call it the sugar crash inducing, but very, very tasty. Very tasty. I had the father-in-law over for dinner. That was, what am I missing here? 30, 19. There we go. I've never done one of these videos before. I have no idea how it's going to work out. I just figured, as long as I remember to keep the action under the camera here in the bullseye, I tend to pull back towards this way because that's where I can see better. Also, cool. You'll note I mentioned at the beginning I've been enjoying these moonshine-soaked maraschino cherries. Yum. And pardon the sucking sounds. Boy, the stuff stains immediately. In a well-worn, oversized shot glass that is labeled "Y'all Need Jesus." So, no judgment. Back to the thing. A2 30 D119 PC4. That's going to be a joint. It's going to be that soft, rubbery tree. Naturally, it's all the way at the bottom. PC4. PC4. This is going to be either one of these guys. That's a clean break. I don't need to do anything to that. All right, let's see how these things go together. This goes this way. I'm looking right here. This goes this way. Okay, I think that's right. And then this goes this way. Snaps right into there. On the last one that I did, I saw some places where it looked like, why is this not going in? Where a little bit of glue came in handy, and I went ahead and glued some stuff together just because it made me feel better about. Okay. This doesn't look like it's working the way it's supposed to. I might have something figured out wrong. There, that goes in there, that goes in there. And this goes in here. Slides in the top. Everything should slide. Everything should slide in. Everyone behave. Should I get some olive oil? How to train your Gundam in 3 easy steps. Yeah. This piece right here, it's a little bent. Not bent, but thing is going to take some finagling. And I can see how it's supposed to go, but the shit is not sliding in the way that it's supposed to. All right. So one last time before I get out the blowtorch. There we go. Bang, bang, bong. I will not be defeated. Okay. All right. Got that piece done. Now they're going to have me do the other side, I imagine. So it's 29 of the A, the other, blah, blah, B, D, D. I just had this thing in my hand. I'm going to be saying that a lot too, I think. I just had it. All right. No, A2. Oh, here we go. All right. Yep, 29, 20, and 4. That's 29. There's no one in my green room. I feel so unwanted. As if I've got no friends on a Sunday at, what is it? 11 o'clock when everybody has to get up for work tomorrow morning. How dare they? All right, so around here, we tend to treat Father's Day and Mother's Day and days like that. Like there's a weekend that it's not just Father's Day, but there's the day before Father's Day, and my lovely wife, moonshine cherries, you all need Jesus. You all do need Jesus. I'm just saying. Let's watch a movie together, because normally, like I always want to watch a movie with my wife. I love movies. Sorry, talking and streaming at the same time. D 120. So where did we go the other day? We saw Maverick, Top Gun Maverick. Great movie. Some of it was a little. I always tend to use the word formulaic, because like there's certain things that happen when you're telling a story. There's, the mechanics of storytelling are this, and I pick up on it a lot more. Get rid of that tab, and I pick up on it the more I listen to different YouTube videos, like the Critical Drinker. And any other like movie review sites. One of my favorites is Weird Movies with Mark. He does a lot of stuff about old movies, like bad old movies. I don't mean like old movies like Casablanca is a good old movie. I mean badly done, new and old movies. Anyways, let me find this one. I think this is, what do we say? It was 4? Yeah, PC4. That's this guy right here. After a while, you start to see the same, the same part show up over and over again. So, two things happen. One, you end up getting cocky and end up putting the, two parts together that you shouldn't. That's what I noticed the last time I did one of these. There's a couple of places where I had to actually undo some things. I did not feel good about that. Because then the structure itself, the integrity of the structures, the more you unsnap and snap things together, the joints get weak and things like that. So, all right. So we're going to go and slide these in the way the last one was supposed to go, only this time it's going to go perfectly the first time. And what I tell you. All right. Okay, so what are we doing here? We've got our joint. What am I missing here? Oh, we missed this part. So joint up at the top. These flares, these are flaring out towards the bottom. And we got our joint down here. Looks like, all right, let's press these together. And that's what they're telling me to do. Okay. Man, I'm sorry, the tangents. Okay, so a PS2 Gundam Wing. I feel like I need to go back and get another PS2 and then find a copy of that. Luckily, there's a place, I don't know that they have it. I'm just saying that if there is a chance that this thing does exist, it's going to be at Iron Blast Games in Washington. I want to make sure I get this right because, okay, every single one of these, like you can see, the features on here are very well illustrated. Here, 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 here. So this is right side up. This joint needs to be going towards this guy. This is, a second, I make sure I got this right. I might have, do I have this right or no? Yeah, on this one I have it right. And that's going to be on this side. Good Lord. Help the old man out. On this one, I believe this looks like a hip joint. Looks like I've got this wrong. I got to spin this cat around. Smack him in there. We go. Riveting YouTube stuff. Yep. And there. I think we're looking at, what are we putting together? The hips, I think. Good. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to, I was thinking about doing some Gorilla Glue at some point here just because, but I think I'll wait until something starts falling apart. That can get sloppy. In fact, I'm just going to put that away. All right. And there's a plate, F10. I've not even gotten into the Fs. A1, E, PC, H, C, B, super not that, B, D. Seriously? F10? Where's F? A1. H3, B2, C, yada, yada, yada. Get cherry juice on stuff. E1. Is it this? Oh, F. There we go. It's got to be this one, right? 1, yeah. And that is together at this. Where's my, okay, there's my markings. This goes on top, curved part forward. That's a kind of a loose fit. Okay. B2, 7 and 8. 7 and 8. There we go. Now, for anybody who's actually interested, and this is probably the best reason that any of you should up, you want to look at the Kit Bash Federations, my brother's channel. He does this stuff, but he doesn't follow directions or whatever. He does honest to God, amazing, the kind of the kind of model building that you would do for a full-length motion picture. What the hell are they telling me to do here? Just like this. These two go together. And then there's a B2 9. Kit Bash Federation. It is some of the best time that you'll spend on YouTube. They're all decently produced videos, and you're talking about like the kind of model building that you can win awards with. This is the stuff that would have been used before CGI, and there's still a huge following for kit bashing. So essentially what it is you take the parts from here, you imagine it as something else on something else, and a lot of times it's spaceships, but they'll use anything. I mean, they'll use like the cap to this ink bottle here, the cap to this. Okay, I guess I need the cap to this, all kinds of stuff. I mean, when my brother and I used to play with Legos, the last thing that we ever did was look at instructions. We just pulled the pieces together and made whatever we wanted to, and it was just an assault of imagination. And let's see, it looks like this can't be right. I guess it is right. These two go together like this. Okay. How fine. PC9, that's going to be a joint. Looks like there's 2 of them. Those here. And they're going to go onto an F. It's going to be a jet looking thing. D. Wasn't this an F? Where's that? Yes. F5. Come on now. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Kit Bash Federation. I should put it's perfect to put a link in the description of this thing here. We'll have to edit that after, because this is right. Anybody who's even remotely interested in what I'm doing here is going to love the Kit Bash Federation. Like and subscribe for reals. You know what I ought to do the next time I'm on a stream with one of our awesome cats like Cool Frogger the Expert. Let's pull his channel up, because it is. Yep, pop that in there. Cool. All right, we'll get the other one going. Little jet. Little This is cool. Like these little things, they swivel around. So you can, like, for anybody who's actually, get this tab off of here. For anybody who's really, staring this thing down, yeah, you'd be able to say, oh yeah, it looks like he's making a turn going forward at 45 degrees, whatever, because, one jet's pointed this way and the other one's pointed this way. It's so stupid. It's cool. Move these jets around. I'll put them in some odd configuration. It makes it look like you're making a drastic turn, spin around and fire back on the enemy. Okay, so we got that done. Got the jets done. From below, okay, A227, B2, that's F, pretty sure, D, B, A1, A2, 27. All right, from below. What the hell is below? That's got to be below. And then I've got two hoses, which is going to be C, A27, 2, 3, blah, 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 1, C3. Okay, geez, the C, I'm like, okay, what's up, what's down? C3. All right, there we go. Let's get this. And I'm sure at some point somebody in the future is going to be like, I built one of those before. It doesn't take this long. Don't use a knife with that. Use clippers. Okay. Okay, there. So this is going to go. Oh, I'm missing something. Jets go on the back. Right. Like so. It looks like it. So then this is going to go from here. Right, and we're going to get the other piece going here. Hopefully I got this correct. Wrong. Here. Right. Come on, you. There. Maybe be careful not to bust these. Good Lord. I think these hoses would make the end product a little vulnerable on account of okay, let's see. A2, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. Make sure that the parts are facing the right ways and in the right positions. Certainly hope so. And then what? this goes in here, looks like. Is it possible that I've got these hoses on the wrong way? Could be. Let's switch them out and see what happens. Stranger things have happened. Come on. See, trimming the tabs off, yeah, okay, great. They want you to do that. But then I don't want to run the risk of, having I plug it in somewhere and it doesn't want to stay put because there's nothing holding it in there anymore. Hoses in the bottom one. That's right. We're in the bottom one. Okay. And there. And there. And this is tight. Click. Come on. Click. Snap. Yeah, from the bottom. I get you. Something tells me this is going to be one of those spots that has to be glued again. All right. I don't even know what this. I'm pretty sure this is torso. Like this is the hips. No, it might actually be the chest. Yeah, it's the chest. All right, man. This is the first one I did whenever I got it all together. I was like, man, that's a big box for such a small thing at the end. What are you gonna do? The bigger ones are, I mean, they're more impressive and they're really cool looking and stuff, but holy crap, I got this for 15 bucks on sale. All right. Head. Heed. Let's move along. Move it along. B1. B11. B11. Oh my gosh, this is going to be a small head. Heed. Yeah. Shave. A little shave. Should be okay. A little shave. Okay. B1. C1. I know what the hoses are. It's this guy right here. Thing that I am super happy I accomplished today was page 4 of the Asphalt comic. My comic book, Asphalt. And I showed it to the 16-year-old. She said, it's kind of complicated. I'm trying not to let too much out of the bag in the first 4 pages. But she told me that she was able to follow right along, and that made me feel good. A18, A11, A1, 1 and 8, A1, 1. There we go. Come on. Hey, nothing's hit the floor so far. I'm happy about that. A1, 1 and 8. You know, it occurs to me, I know I've got this thing going live on Twitter. I've got it going live on Facebook. I have not checked. See if anybody's looking at this on Facebook. It would be something else if that was actually happening. And I've been off of this platform for so long. blah, 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 yada, yada. Okay, here we go. Yeah, be the first. Okay, so I'll be the first comment. Just like I like it. Nobody around. Left alone to my own devices. Heed. All right. A1, 1-8. Here we go. Clip, clippity clip. Yeah, I am the most undisciplined when it comes to these tab edges. Yeah, so I do. I want to get this done for no other reason than I've got, okay, this goes here. Small part of the hose in the, oh, there's a little tab in the front. No, there isn't. There's a tab in the back. Okay, so this goes here. That's great. I love it. Somehow it just, I love the way they kind of spoon feed how you're supposed to put this stuff together. That any idiot can do it, and any idiot is a perfect description of me. Any and every. Okay. All right, let's not get carried away. All right, heed. Last goes. Come on. What am I looking at here? Oh, there's a sticker. That's what this means. Sticker 35 and 36. Yeah, 35. Why is 36 like that? There's a sticker. That's one of the things I like about this. It's these Neo Xeons, whatever you call them, these red Gundams. They have that red dot in the middle. Like it reminds me of like Knight Rider and Cylons and stuff. It's very, very cool. But what is 36 for? There's a, I guess it's like either one. Select a part. I guess you get to select one. I like this one. Okay, so that goes there. This guy goes in front right here. Attaches just like this. Everything's beginning to take shape. Take shape. What I meant to say. A1, 3, and 2, and there they are, as predictable as ever. Blink, blink. Let's clean them up. Get these edges off of here. So far, no mistakes. I applaud myself. So far, no mistakes. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Yep. You stay put. Oh, killer. So you can like move the eye back and forth if you want. See if anybody can see this. It looks one way or the other. Nifty. And then he's got a little blade that goes on there. I can actually spot it right here. I don't need to look it up on the directions. Snaps right in. Snaps right in. But this is one of those parts that I would want to glue just to be just to be on the safe side. Yeah, he sees you. You're not getting away from this dude. He sees all, knows all. Mono eye movement, that's great. We can move that part and waste A2. Moving on to A1. Let me guess. A2. 20 and D17. Come on. 20. This is going to be one of those ones that needs to be cleaned up for shizzle. Looks like Facebook is doing me the very kind service of closed captioning everything that I say. I wonder how hard it would be to get canceled if I was to say "Goo goo goo." Goo goo goo. All right. Let's see. All right, so we're going to go that way. PC8. It's going to be this cat right here. D. Where's D? Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me, Goose. D. Yeah, good movie, Maverick. It was a lot of fun. Ye old lady had a great time because it had some good member berries in there, but it wasn't. Oh, you're live with the expert on a Sunday, for crying out loud. More than likely, I'm being sniped right now if I know the expert, and I think I do. D1, come on, 17, bing. This is it? Oh, yeah, this is it. Building Gundams. Though there's a full-sized Gundam in Japan. It's not exactly the fastest moving thing in the world, but it is cool that they bothered to spend what can only be considered enough money to keep the average African village going for about 5 years on a life-sized version of one of these things. I can hear the Discord going, but I can't read it. Okay, because it's over there. All right, and then this is going to go in here and here. Snap. All right, there we go. And then A2, 18. Go. 18 looks about right. Let's get the clippers out for this. It's actually attached. Come on. It occurs to me that getting over 1,000 subs, I know that you can actually go mobile and do live streams from your phone. And how cool would that be? Imagine all the people that you could get to like shut up right now, or I'm going to put this whole thing on a live stream, and all my subscribers are going to see what an ass you're making of yourself. Now, of course, it could backfire. Me, being known, I think, among local circles, pretty good for making an ass of myself. Who needs that kind of flack? Okay, A217. Bang. It's like a game of concentration. The less pieces that you have to look for, it'll be a lot easier to find these things in this jungle of model trees when you have less and less of them to look for. Things will move along a little bit more smoothly. A PC2, that's going to be a joint. Damn, those are good ribs. Okay, PC2. We're going to go. Okay. Is this the right one? 17? 16, 17. Okay, this is 17. They're telling me it's 17. Doesn't look like it though. This looks like the other one. Get on there. Come on. Where's it, PC? Come on. I know you're in here. Yep. Ew. There's an extra piece on this. Ugly. Okay. So did Miles Teller do good in Maverick? Yeah, he did. I think it was an adequate script. Like I was saying before, some of it seemed to be somewhat formulaic. But you do need to, you do need to appeal to the widest audience, and Top Gun's one of my wife's favorite movies. Of course, anybody who's ever been in naval aviation knows that you would never be able to get away with the shit that they got away with in Top Gun. Yeah. So you don't buzz the tower, but it was a nice little callback in the very beginning of Top Gun when they're getting reamed out for doing buzzing the tower, and one general's daughter, I think it was Penny Benjamin. That's who Jennifer Connelly plays in the new movie. It's one of those things where you're just like, oh, Kelly McGillis is old and the gay, and she owns a restaurant in Key West, coincidentally 1 block away from where I used to live. She simply won't do. So what do? You get Penny Benjamin in on the act, and all things are made new again. Okay, here we go. A221. Peconk. 1, 2. Can you get copyright struck for singing a song? I'm not saying I'm going to do it, because I don't want my my YouTube audience showing up on my doorstep asking for favors. My voice is that golden. I'm just wondering if it's possible that if it's possible to be struck like that for singing a song perfectly. All right, get in there. Oh, don't do that. Don't be one of those. And then what are we going to? A2, which was the red one, dark red. A228 down here. That's going to point. Is it going to point down like that? Yep. I love the way these things just, it's not even like, of course these things could never possibly work. You couldn't get inside one of these things and fly them around. But even in the toy, they managed to make parts of the body air flaps. You know, like you would see on an airplane wing. You know, this is the torso. This is basically the hips or the skirt of the thing. I imagine wherever the torso went, this is going to fit on top. In fact, this probably does go together just like that. You got your jets pointing in different ways. Get in there. There we go. Your jets pointing in different ways. You can wiggle those around. Your air flaps moving around in different ways, air brakes and what have you. It's the engineering that goes into this shit is just incredible to me. Yeah, and even here, even here inside this, that, you know, this whole, let me get a file. I'll show you. This whole piece moves back and forth. You know, you can just articulate all of this stuff. You can articulate it the way like a fully functional action figure, and you're putting the damn thing together. It's just, I love these things. I picked it up like months ago, and I finally just like, you know, screw it, I'm putting it together. And at least this way, doing it as a live stream, it makes me not want to stop and then come back later. So left arm, we're doing the arms now. D. Where are you at? D. E. Wrong. This is F, I believe. F and D. 1. Loser. D1. D1, 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Let's move it along, little doggy. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Where's 3? Yep. And 4. Those don't look even remotely the same, but okay. 4. 1. 2. 3. So 1 moves like this. 2 goes on the other side of it. And okay, looks like, yep. This goes this way. This goes on that side. Whew, man, I hope I got this right. This is one of the pieces that I screwed up in the last one. Bring it. Look at that. Oh, man, this is awesome. Freaking arm joint. Moving that shit around. Let's clean some of this up. Cherries. Y'all need Jesus. I'm just saying. And so is my shot glass. Happy Father's Day. Moonshine cherries. Yummy, yummy, yum. Come on, get on that toothpick. The heat. E1 and D1. That is H3. I have not even gotten into this tree yet. That's got to be the weapons. All right. D125. Gotcha. Bow. And E116. Where's that E? That's F. F. E. Yep. U116. Oh, by the way, this right here, this is what happens when you try to get a tennis ball away from your boxer / Belgian Malinois. And these are guesses / pit bull. They do not like to give up things that they just got. Cherry juice. I had to establish dominance a couple of times. All right. As the trick is holding it the same way that it is in the picture. And they have these like little, you can see this here, these little attention dots, the same way that you would see in comic books, in an image. Pay attention to this part right here. So we want to make sure that we are doing so. Flat on that side. So this is going to go through here like this. I believe I've got that correctly. All right, so we're going to go D16 and PC. Somebody's in here. Oh, Outpost. Let me click you in.
What's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. What's up, man?
Nothing, just dealing with assholes online.
Oh, aren't we all? Wait a minute. Is this how I want to do this? No. Hold on a minute. Oh, how do I do? There. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not trying to upstage you or anything like that.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So.
What are you building?
What do they call it? I always have to look at the lid. It's the red one. The Char's Gundam thing.
I know which one you're talking about.
Zaku 2, the Red Comet version.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a Gundam Wing game for the PS2 that was. I mean, at first I wasn't into it. It seemed like the controls and stuff were really not very intuitive. But the more I got used to it, the more fun I was having. And it's literally. Have you ever heard somebody say, "Yeah, I used to own that fill in the blank, and I sold it, and I wish I never had done that." Same thing. I'm gonna have to go looking for a PS2, and then find that game again.
Yeah, my first exposure to Gundam was the Gundam Wing anime on Cartoon Network in the 90s.
Yeah, there's some of them on Netflix. I was watching. Which one was it? This guy in the red Zaku or whatever you want to call it.
Was it Gundam Wing? I don't know. I haven't seen many of them. I've seen like maybe 4 or 5 Gundam series.
Well, there's a guy. I work opposite shifts. I'll run into him for about like 20 minutes. 20 minutes a day for a week, every 2 weeks whenever I go to work. And he's a big Gundam nerd. He actually his description of these things where, you can, like, here's one, the last one I made. What?
That was the original Gundam. Yeah, I see it. I saw it.
Yeah, it's what he was saying. It's like, oh yeah, you snap them together and then you can move them however you want and stuff. I was like, man, that sounds cool. And I remember having something like this there was a die-cast metal thing, and the head looked almost exactly like this. There was something that like nothing on the box. It was a little die-cast metal thing, and nothing on the box that it came in had any English on it at all. So it was like right from Japan or something like that. And it was like, I don't know, I was like 5 or 6. It was like 70 something. I had no idea.
That was you had to order directly from Japan back in like up until like the early 2000s when they started selling American version stuff.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was. How could I? It was like, this. I mean, shit. I was this many, or this many, or whatever. But it was. I remember it being like super super cool.
One of my favorite Gundam series was one called G Gundam. It was different. it was set in its own I think it was set in its own universe. But what it was, every country had their own space colony, and every 4 years they would have this elimination tournament where each country would create their own Gundam,
Yeah.
and fight it in this big tournament. And they were all themed. Like the American Gundam was a boxer.
The American Gundam was okay, yeah, I got you. Like the fighting style, right.
Yeah, no, it literally, like, it had the way this Gundam was built. It had these shoulder pads that would rocket off and become boxing gloves. Style fists, and there was a French, I think he was French, that used like a rapier and would shoot rose-shaped missiles. It was pretty. The main character, he's Japanese, and he was samurai themed,
right?
And there was a Canadian one who was this big lumberjack kind of style.
The Canadian one was a lumberjack.
Yeah, he carried like a large axe.
And this was made from this is like, honest to God, old Japanimation.
Yeah.
So they were basically it was just a giant anime of cultural appropriation.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Came out in 94. And whichever country had the last Gundam standing would rule all the other colonies for like 4 years until the next Gundam tournament.
Yeah, it sounds like what the hell was that stupid movie in the early 90s? Robot Jocks. It sounds like Robot Jocks.
I haven't seen that.
Don't bother. Do not watch that. It'll if you have any hope in mankind at all, that movie will kill it.
Yeah, well, my hope is gone right now. So
well,
already.
Non-facetiously, if you have any hope, like I know you don't. You have the same amount of hope in humanity that I do, which is like none. My hope in humanity, if I was going to say, or at least in like popular society, if I was going to describe the level of hope, it would be the very last quarter mouthful of beer at the bottom of a bottle that's been sitting in the living room for a week that no one bothered to pick up. Right.
Yeah, I'm just right now. I can't describe how pissed I am right now.
Try. We have a lot of time. There's still a lot of parts left on the.
I have been following this guy on Twitch for like 2 years now. And he started off as a small
little channel or something.
Small channel doing Tony Hawk games. He doesn't play.
Oh, okay, right.
He doesn't play like the mainstream games, but he's been playing Elden Ring for the past few months, and
everybody has been, though. I mean, you can't really.
And that's fine. Up until tonight, the guy I thought he was a friend.
Uh-oh.
And we talk out off of Twitch and stuff, and but then me along with the chat, we're talking about shit, and we're disagreeing, we're poking fun at each other, and he calls me out.
For what?
Calling one guy a leftist. After he called me a leftist, and I'm like, no,
he called you a leftist.
And then I joked with him back. I joked with him back, calling him a leftist. Right. I joked with him back.
He knows you at all, right?
These are people I talk to on Twitter. It's kind of like you expert in the rest. Yeah, kind of got to know a little bit.
Yeah, right. It's just it's a little community of what would you call it? Organic. It's got its own organic thing going, right?
And me, when I'm talking to my friends, I'm like, shut the fuck up, that kind of thing. And I say that to him, and I say, shut the fuck up, LOL.
Yeah, right. Okay. So
he goes on this epic. He goes on this epic rant about how I'm a shitty streamer who can't do it, who's only done one show that was shit.
What is the quote that you can't do? A stream?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, neither can I. So come on in. The water's fine.
Well, I tried once, and Cool Frog got on and helped me a little bit. It was first time doing it, and I decided, it wasn't really up to the standards I wanted to do, so I just unlisted it.
Okay.
Big fucking deal.
Yeah.
But he's going on, this is my show. And one guy said something about, we were talking sci-fi shows, and one guy said something, and I'm like, I made the joke, like when someone says something you don't, or something like, oh, I like Star Wars, or I think Force Awakens was a good movie. Someone says,
Well, that
well, hold
automatically
on, hold on.
raises.
Someone will say, Get
That
Out.
automatically raises red flags, doesn't it?
No, just that's the example I'm using. If someone says something like that, and you're like, just get out, just
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, right.
And he thought I was being serious.
You weren't. I would have been. If somebody said the Force Awakens
he
is a
didn't.
good
He
movie.
didn't say that. And it wasn't such a bad take. It was just like I was joking with the guy.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, please, kind of like that.
And he's actually, the guy is, and I hope he hears this, because I was at a disadvantage because I was having to type.
Right. So yeah, you have to go looking for those. I'll make sure I get this right. You have to go looking. You have to go looking for the right.
Yeah,
better be correct. You have to go looking for the right inflection and the right. What do you call it? Do I have this right? Yeah. Okay. This goes here. This goes. You have to go looking for the right emoji. Yeah, to make sure that what you're saying is taken the right way, because no one can hear the inflection in your voice.
Yeah, exactly.
And all that stuff. This is always where I screw it up. This is backwards.
And I kept pointing. He's like, I don't know. Have you ever heard of Ethan Ralph?
I have heard of Ethan Ralph. It's not the kind of thing that I don't really go for.
I don't go for it either. I don't watch him.
I know what it is, but it's the kind of YouTube drama that I don't really go for. Just because all it is YouTube drama.
Yeah, I don't watch Ethan Ralph. I don't deal with him. I mean, he can go and do his own thing. I don't care.
Yeah, but I know he's a creator of some merit.
But I called Kurt, the guy who's going after Divinity. Uncivil law.
Uncivil law, right.
I bring up how he's the cause of all that. He's caused a lot of drama, and this guy just blows it off. I don't care.
Yeah.
So, he doesn't care because it's not his friend who's getting attacked like Divinity is.
Yeah.
And he's personal friends with Nick Rekieta. This guy is too. So Nick can walk on water for all this guy to this guy.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not to say that like Nick is trying to walk on water or anything like that. But
to this guy,
for this guy, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you're talking about that's where when somebody says simp, like what the acronym stands for, right?
Actually,
it's an acronym like MASH, like Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. It stands for suckers idolizing mediocre pussy.
Oh, I didn't know it was an acronym.
Yeah, that's what it stands for. So it's basically somebody who's going, head over heels over, and it doesn't have to be a girl. It just has to be somebody. It's basically, it's like idol worship.
Yeah.
You are all about this. Fill in the blank. YouTube creator. It could be, if you're in, shit, I have to remember his name, which is why I'm forgetting it. But like that cool cat that was hanging with us the one night, the welder, like somewhere in his in his industry, there's going to be somebody who just welds crazy awesome like a motherfucker, and nobody can.
I remember who you're talking about. I just can't remember his name.
Road plow.
Yeah, road plow.
Right, and just as an example, you know what I mean? Like there's somebody out there who's amazing at doing X, and that's the person that you idolize, and they can't be touched, and it's that kind of thing. It's like, it's weird, because it's like all it is another person. You know what I mean? It's not.
There is I brought up one night. I brought up one time in his chat. There's a difference between being a fan and a chat simp. Simp has sexual connotations to it. A fan, you don't expect anything. I got
Well,
called for
all a fan is short for fanatic.
I'm a fan of Gina Carano. I'm not a simp.
Yeah, well, I'm a fan of her more because of how she's handled herself through the
Yeah.
trials that she's been through. I don't even know on an acting level if I'd be able to put her up against
No, acting level,
somebody
she's
who's
not that.
an Academy Award winning actor or
No.
whatever. But I just like that she's a real person.
And I thought she was great in
She doesn't pretend to
Mandalorian.
be somebody else.
I thought I love her. I love the character that they portrayed. You know, all this bullshit about, oh, you just don't like strong female characters. Cara Dune, Princess Leia, Laura Croft.
Yeah,
I could go on
not so.
and on.
I totally love those characters when they're well written.
Yeah,
And you had one. She was right there in front of you.
And they
She
threw her
had
away.
a fan base, but because somebody on Twitter was like, and they snowflaked out, that got interpreted as
and it's like I can't remember the character's name. She's the female Inquisitor from Kenobi. Is all I can remember her as. We're supposed to fall in love with that character.
What is her name?
I can't remember.
I was just watching that thing too. I'm not super impressed, and not to say that I'm not even going to say that like she's a bad actor or something like that. Actress.
I've never seen her in anything else before this that I can remember.
Well, I like to give the performers the benefit of the doubt because have you ever been given a bad script?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are they supposed to do with it?
Moses Ingram is her name.
And that whole show is nothing but bad script. It's if you ask Ewan McGregor, better yet, Alex,
he's gonna love it
to read the thing.
What do you think
of the way that this story's gone? I mean, like, this is not this character. This is not how any of this. It's not how any of this works.
She's acted in 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 things, including Kenobi, on screen.
Yeah, and she's probably really talented. The thing is one, I don't know that if like when Disney comes out and says, there's 20, 100,000 whatever races in the galaxy, don't be a racist. I saw that. I would be giving that she's talented, she's pretty, and she was probably rolling her eyes when she read that tweet and was like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. All I wanted to do was go and act and earn a paycheck and leave. You know what I mean? I haven't heard anything from her about it. I've heard everything from Disney about it. They're screwing their own
writing for her character is so predictable and bad. I figured it out by episode 3, and by episode 5, I was proven right.
Okay, and and there it is. Shit, I'm getting lost here. Sorry. Keep going.
You're fine. You're fine. I'm listening. But you also got to realize it's not just the bad writing; it's how the performers react to the audience reaction.
Well, how are they supposed to react to I mean, if they feel the same way? I mean, and what are you supposed to do? Like you're on your job. And you're like, oh my God, the script is terrible. Okay, that's great. Do you want to make a stink or do you want to make a paycheck?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, to anybody else, like take Oscar Isaacs, for instance. Oscar Isaacs was in Ex Machina, great movie. A Most Violent Year. I really liked him in that movie too. It was really good. I am a fan of Oscar Isaacs. What was the one with with the shimmer? All those there was like that small group of army chicks went in and it was like an alien comet hit the planet. Oh shit. Not Armageddon. Come on. I watched it like 3 times. I really liked it. There were little bits in the movie that were just like rewind, watch again, rewind, watch again. Annihilation. You see that?
I haven't seen that one.
Annihilation is pretty good. Oscar Isaacs has I would say a co-starring role in that, and he's good in that. I don't know what it is. It's something about Oscar. Is this B1? Yeah, something about Oscar Isaacs. I paid attention to his career and what he's been doing, and he's really good. And on one hand, I'm like, oh my God, he's doing Disney stuff. But on the other hand, from an individual, I'll be like, you know what? He's smart. He's Moon Knight.
Finn
he's Poe Dameron.
Poe was a decent character.
It would have been even better. But I'm just talking about from a professional standpoint, that Oscar Isaacs might not like what's going on with the script and stuff that he's being forced to play, but on the other hand, he's like halfway selling out, which I honestly don't think that selling out is really a terrible thing. It just means that you understand how to work your career.
Yeah.
And you're making shit happen, and there it is. I like him as an actor. I think he's incredibly talented. I just wish he could get away from the Disney money so that he could do something that actually means anything.
Now, he was good in Dune as Duke Atreides.
Exactly. Okay, right there. It's a perfect example.
He was great.
Disney, good movie, great cast.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. And my wife does not like science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but when she says that was a good movie and it was that Dune, they got through to her. Even if it was bad, I'll sit through and I'll try to find something good about it, because
compared to the other two film versions, there was the movie back in the 80s, and I think in the late 90s, early 2000s, they did the miniseries.
Yeah, I have that. I have the miniseries.
You saw the Duke as a real person finally.
What's that?
You saw the Duke as a real person finally. I love the scene where he's visiting the Duke is visiting his father's grave for the last time.
Yeah.
And Paul tells him, I don't want to be the Duke. Basically, flat out tells him, I don't want to do this.
Now you're talking about the movie right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, I didn't want to do this. I wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah. Oh, you saw the stuff about the bull.
Yeah, you saw.
And they actually have this thing where the bull is something to be respected, because this is the animal that took down such a powerful man.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And
it goes back to the Atreides history of being bullfighters back in Spain. That's where they trace their lineage back to bullfighting. But you see so much more character development and he was in 45 minutes to an hour of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the scene where the herald comes and he says, "We are House Atreides," something like, "We are House Atreides. There is no call we do not answer."
Yeah,
it was just, and the cast.
There's a lot of there's respect and honor. That's one of the things that they said over and over again in Gladiator. That's what made that movie so good. Isn't that what they said? Respect and honor.
Yeah,
respect and honor. Respect and honor.
And finally, you got a version that really stayed true to the source material more so than
as much as they could.
To me, I think they finally got the warfare in 10,000 years really correct for the first time. You're in a century where with personal shields, and this is what Frank Herbert always said, you're in a century with personal shields, guns are obsolete.
Well, the laser guns are obsolete. You can't fire them because they'll cause a small nuclear explosion.
Yeah, that's why they have to fight hand to hand so much, because you got to get in fast past your opponent, but then you got to slow down to get past the shield.
Right. The slow blade penetrates the
That's
shield.
what I love about
there's stuff about the first movie that I really liked. I hadn't read Dune at that point, so I was appreciating all the extra stuff that David Lynch had put in there that wasn't in the book, like the weirding modules.
Yeah, I thought that was after I read about that.
Idea, and it's a great idea, and it would have been great if Frank Herbert had thought of it.
Yeah.
The hell going on here?
I'm just. And it's like back in that chat I was on, we were talking about Mortal Kombat, the last Mortal Kombat. The last Mortal Kombat, yes, it was cheesy. The writing was not so good, but it was just flat out fist fighting fun in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people wanted. They didn't. A lot of times you don't care about what a person says. You just want to see them beat each other to a pulp.
Yeah, I mean they're introducing a new character via the movie versus the video game. And I don't know that they pulled it off. In my opinion, excuse me, in my opinion, the guy with the gold and the nightsticks and whatever, it didn't work. He wasn't badass enough. He wasn't a Raiden. He wasn't a Scorpion.
Cole Young was the character's name.
Yeah, he seemed kind of like I understand it, but he seemed kind of lame to me. 8.
Yeah, I think Kano stole the show.
Oh
Kano,
yeah.
Kano stole the show in that movie.
Yeah, and I hope it's funny because when you say that stuff, I'm like, all right, let me guess. I got to go back to the video game, and my brain, it takes a second for me to make the connection. I saw the movie a long time ago, but I'm not like into the lore. Like, my kid was, going through all of the characters and the latest Mortal Kombat, going through all the characters, all the stories. He had it all figured out. By this time, I'm just, some dude that's going to work and kind of watching him own every own the PS3. And,
I had a Sega Genesis, and I think one of the games we had was the first or second Mortal Kombat back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I grew up with all these games.
Games. No, I mean I pumped quarters into it. In fact, the one, I keep coming back to this. Naturally, I have to fall in love with the one game that you can't find. I mean, you can find a MAME for it, but getting the computer or getting the keyboard to work with the controls is really hard because it takes 2 joysticks that you're working at the same time. It's a tank. It's a top down. If you look it up, Namco's Assault. I poured more money into that game. I loved that game because the thing is, like, your avatar basically doesn't move. It rolls side to side, but it's the map that's turning and moving this way and this way. The music was really good. The enemies were really good. And I mean, even for the time, the graphics were pretty good. But the cool thing about it was the tank, you had your joysticks that went like this: forward, backwards, forward, left, or forward left, forward right, and spin and all that stuff. But then if you took the sticks and you did this, the tank would roll, and then the other way too. If you spread them, the tank would pop up. Well, do it like this: the tank would pop up and lob a shot off of and hit people far away, and then you would land on these like lifter spots that would. Basically, the whole map would shrink as if you were being lifted off the ground, and then you could pelt people over into the next section before you got there and kind of take care. It was a really good game. I loved it. If you find any, like YouTube, and I know it's out there. The thing is trying to get a MAME like that to work on a computer where you're working 8 keys this way, and whatever. It's impossible. And I've been trying to get a joystick to work with my Mac for the longest time, and I'm like, I just, it's like I can't do it. Anyways, it's first world problems.
See, I was lucky.
That's my coin-op video game problem.
When I started going, when I got on to go to the arcade full time, like on my own as like a late teenager, our model arcade had teenager. I was probably about 15, 16, 17, okay. Friends with cars,
Well, shit, man, that was like what would you call it? That was like a novelty at that point, wasn't it?
Pretty much. Our arcade at our mall had about 4 rows of computers, and what you would do is you would go to the ticket desk, give them you pay for a 20 for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
And they had 2 or 3 dozen games you could pick from on the computers.
Right.
All sorts of that, and that's basically what we did. But we still have an arcade in my town. But I'll never go there because the guy who owns it is an asshole who assaulted me one day.
Yeah. Hey, well, not to get into the specifics of it, but what could somebody say that would make you want to not go back ever again?
My thing is not necessarily say, it's what you do. This guy, I was working at a pizza place that he owned right next door to the arcade. And no one told me they were having problems with my work.
Were they? They just didn't tell you?
Yes, they didn't tell me.
Okay.
So I go in one evening to work, and I get told that the guy who was the owner, said I was no longer working there.
Okay, so they just pulled it out.
Yeah, pulled it out from under me. So I go back the next day. It was about July 2nd, about 9 o'clock in the morning. And I go to ask him, not for my job back, but I want to know what I did wrong so I don't do it at my next job.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
because the manager at the pizza place,
either I can explain it, or I'd like to be able to explain it to myself.
The manager at the pizza place didn't have anything to tell me other than he said I wasn't allowed in. So I'm standing out there. It's like 95, 100 degrees outside. Wait, they're not open yet. They don't open for another like 30 minutes, but I got there early to beat the crowd so I could talk to him before he got busy. A girl walks up. She works at this arcade. It's an arcade bowling alley place.
Yeah.
And she says, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yeah." When so-and-so gets here, can I speak to him? She's like, "Would you like to wait inside?" Now, this saved me. And at the end of the story, it'll come apparent why her inviting me in saved me.
Saved you. Okay. Because you didn't.
Well, I'm sitting there. Well, not necessarily. So I'm sitting there at some tables they have beside the door, and he walks by and said, "Sir, when you get a moment," he walks by and said, "Sir, when you get a moment, can I talk to you? There's no hurry. Just when you get a sec."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm right here." And he got real snotty and short with me. So my defenses, of course, like anyone's, was like, "Oh, okay, he's going to be like this." And I say to him, I said, "Well, sir, I was fired yesterday, and I'd like to know, well, I don't hire and fire people over there." I said, "Yes, sir, you do. Because one,
or you hire people that do that."
I said, "One, I interviewed with you for the job.
Yeah.
And two, the manager told me the decision to let me go came from you." So I called him out on it, and he did not like that. And he goes on this rant about how he's having to hire people to pick up my slack, and I'm not doing a good enough job. And I said, "Sir, nobody told me this."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, just get out before I call the cops."
Okay.
And I go to the front door. The door is still locked because they're not open yet. So he has to unlock the door for me. As I'm walking out the door, he just hauls out and hits me in the back of the head.
There's no way.
So
I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just saying that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I called the cops and I said, "Yes, I was assaulted. Can I get someone here?" And they come. They're talking to me and getting my story out on the sidewalk. And he comes out and says, "I want him arrested for trespassing." And I told the officer, I said, "I was invited in."
Seriously, dude, I hope at the end of this, I get to find out what it is they said that you did, because this is amazing.
I still don't know.
Come on, that's not fun.
All I know is I was not working up to their standards.
Okay.
I guess they didn't tell me. He didn't go into details, but he comes out when I'm talking to the cops on the sidewalk, says, "I want him arrested for trespassing." I said, "Well, I was invited in, and I was leaving when I was told to leave."
Yeah, and then you got zetzed right upside the head.
Yeah, I go to my best friend, whose dad is a lawyer, and I mentioned the business, and he stops me right then and there, and says, "He's my client. I can't talk to you."
Well, so he retains a lawyer because...
Well, he was going through some legal issues due to a death on the premises a few years before.
Was the death because he hit somebody in the back of the head too hard?
No, this, from what I understand, is a drunk guy was working on one of the pin resetters and got crushed.
Awesome.
And so I just dropped him. Like I just looked at him and said, "Okay, I'm done with this. I don't want to deal with this person anymore." But
Yeah,
then
I wouldn't either.
Then a few years later, I see a post on Facebook from this girl who was pregnant and she applied for a job out there.
And you're like, do it.
Yeah, well, she said that her call had dropped. She had a medical emergency and had to miss the interview.
Right.
So she calls him and lets him know. And as she's talking to him, the phone drops. Well, in the time it took her to get a signal, he had called her and it's like, "You're just a little bitch wasting good people's time." She posted the voicemail online.
Oh, wow.
And I wrote her, I told her my story. I said, "Girl, you do not want to work for this man."
Yeah. There's a pizza place right down the street from us that has a lot of, less than gruntled employees. That was like my daughter's first job. And, the only reason why she was working there was because it was so close.
Yeah, that was I worked at a grocery store and the manager asked me in the interview, "Why do you want to work there?" I said, "Because it's near my house."
Yeah. It's like, what are they expecting you to say? Because I want to retire. I want this to be my first and last job.
The way people treat like cashiers and baggers and customer service people in general. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's horrible. I have been cussed at. I have been threatened, and management does nothing about it.
Yeah, the first job I was working at a deli, the first customer that I ever had, it was like first day on the job. Okay, here's your first customer. Go handle him. Worst guy ever. Mm-hmm. Anytime you've had one of those worst first days, you always give the person, like, if you get like bad service or whatever, you tend to, give that person the benefit of the doubt because you remember your first bad day. You know what I mean? So, but this is basically what the guy was. It was like, no, not that much. This, like the person who's getting, obsessive compulsive disorder with, he wants half a pound of pepperoni and it can't be like 1/100th of a half pound over.
I will never forget working at this grocery store. I was bagging that day, and this girl, she was a cashier, and it was probably around 1:30, 2 o'clock, when people are getting off out of school and their kids are being picked up. Families are stopping at the store to get dinner.
Yeah.
This guy comes, I'm bagging for this girl. She's probably 17, 18, been on the job for maybe a month.
She's only 17.
And this guy comes up with a $5 dinner, pays for it with $100 bill. She does not have enough change. So she does what she's supposed to. She calls the cash office and tells the lady in the cash office, "I need more change." Well, the lady in the cash office, she says, "Well, I'm counting tills right now. I can't leave. It'll just be a few minutes."
Yeah.
This guy has a fit.
Yeah, go for it.
He starts screaming at this girl. He even tried to reach into the till to take his money back. And I try to say, "Sir, it'll just be a minute." He just starts cussing at me.
You have good days at work, don't you? And I'm not saying, I'm just asking.
I had few. I haven't
You're
been
not,
able to.
I mean, I'm just asking, like, you're not cursed, right?
Well, I have a hard time finding and keeping work just due to some issues I have.
Okay.
I learn slower than most people, but when I get it, and I do it right. I remember when it was Valentine's Day during COVID. We always had the news station I was working at would have a local barbershop quartet come in.
Right.
And I'd go out and get him in the green room, and he says, "Boy, for being it so early," because it was like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, "You got a big smile." I said, "Sir, I'm just happy to be working."
Yeah.
And but I learned one thing working at a grocery store. My first job working at a grocery store: don't work with your best friend.
Yeah. Sorry,
because
I'm talking to myself while
you're
I'm
fine.
listening to you.
We worked. This guy I've known since first grade, so early '90s, and we worked together, and we didn't talk for about 4 or 5 years after that. It was just it was bad. Plus the type of job it was. But I come back, getting back to my story. I come back in. He starts cussing at me. I'm like, I'm just gonna go out and get carts. I'm getting away from this. And I come back in a few minutes later, and this girl is crying. She's just full on tears. And this old couple in line, they were trying to calm her down. She started hyperventilating. I had to pick her up because it was her first job. She never had to deal with someone treating her like that.
Her first day in the workforce ever.
She'd been working there for about a month, but she never had anyone speak to her like that.
Yeah.
I literally had to pick her up and carry her to the office, and her grandfather had to come pick her up and take her to the hospital.
Well, I can't believe you didn't get sued for that.
But yeah. But then a few nights later, I'm closing cashier. I'm the only cashier. It's like 9:30. I hear someone start putting their stuff on the conveyor belt, and it's the guy.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, yeah. The one who should have thought that he was going to have to go back into that grocery store someday before he decided to light somebody up.
And he comes and he's like, oh, he's just laughing about it. Oh, you wanted to punch me in the face. I said, sir, go through self-checkout. I'm not serving you.
Yeah, I still want to punch you in the face. You're not safe here.
I got told to fuck off by a 90-year-old woman because Dr. Pepper wasn't covered under the deal we were given the 1 week.
Wait, what?
We were having buy 4 sodas, get 1 free, and Dr. Pepper was not covered under this certain deal.
Yeah.
So me as the bagger would say, oh, I explain it to him and offer to go get them something else.
Yeah, I'll get you the thing that is covered underneath it.
Yeah,
I'll get
no problem doing it. This little old lady tells me to shut the fuck up and leave her the hell alone.
Right. So you obliged naturally, and then she wanted to know why you weren't helping her.
Yeah, I told her, I said, ma'am, there is no reason to talk to me like that. I'm just here to help you. And the assistant manager got mad at me.
I'm just here to help you out of the store through the plate glass window by throwing you through it.
I mean, those jobs would be so much better if management supported their employees.
Yeah, and when they don't
anymore.
And PC1, and when they don't, and those employees quit.
Yeah.
And that's basically how you can tell. Like the one grocery store we have by us, there are people that have been working there ever since I moved here and started going to that grocery store. Like I know them by their first name, even if they don't know me by their first name, because they've never not been there. Yeah. Word.
I mean, and I had people, I had so many customers that I kind of got to know, and they would come through my line. If the next cashier order was empty, they'd wait in my line to come through mine. Just get that personal relationship with them.
Yeah.
But I refuse to ever go back to customer service. Just the one.
Oh, I hate it. Well, no, that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to get away from the custom paint thing, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the people. Like I have a stripe job tomorrow. It's a pair of 69 Cougars. And this customer, he finds these things and he puts them back together and he sells them. It's a rare car, and that's what he does. And every once in a while, I don't usually probably see him like every year and a half, but I pinstripe 2 lines down either side of the car. I put these 2 stripes down there, and here's the thing. We know each other. He knows what I do. I know what he needs because, he's a known. We are both known quantities to each other. But he still, every time we communicate, will say, "All right, well, they got to be this wide, and there's this much space between them, and then this wide." And then I say, "Well, this is how I can do it here, here, and here." And I go, "Is that close enough?" And he says, "Yeah." Now every single time. Every single time he asks me to do these pinstripes, we go through the same thing.
Yeah.
Nice guy. In every one of these jobs, you get paid right there before you leave. Nice guy, nice car. It's all word of mouth. Everybody just, and all it is it's just this pinstriping or this pinstripe repair. But even and this is a guy, this is somebody like we know each other. There shouldn't be this banter that goes back and forth. Like, I know that you know that I know what you need. Now imagine it's a new customer and I have to teach them, like, the reason why this has to happen is because metal and rust and then primer and then this and then that. And I have to take them through this little miniature auto lecture on how to do auto body so that they understand why I'm charging them as much as I'm charging them. That whole thing is what I'm tired of.
Yeah.
And it's good money if you can get it, but it doesn't happen often enough. And you're almost always dealing with somebody who's either can't afford it, they don't know what they're getting into, or they watched Jesse James on the Discovery Channel at some point, and now they're like, oh, and then the reality sets in of this is how this works, and just I would rather make a comic book. Yeah. It's basically like at the end of it, like, I'd rather make a comic book because, like, I was explaining to my wife around here, here we go. This goes in like this. The economy in this area is very super localized. No one who wants me to do what I do knows how much it's worth anywhere else in the country because no one ever leaves here.
Well, the economy in my part of my area is mostly tourist based. We're a big tourist town. Yeah. And that means a lot. It's mostly customer service. Either you start your own business, go into civil service like environmental police officer, or you're in customer service. There's nothing else here. My thing is, I've had 3 knee surgeries due to an accident as a kid.
Yeah, I think I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, and that has kept me from working a lot of jobs. And I can't stand 8 hours like I used to.
Yeah, you're going to have to do something that's not physical.
I have tried office.
And I'm right behind you, man. I mean, I've got issues with my right knee that, I'm just, it's okay. It's fine if I don't twist this way. If I don't try to kick the ball.
Don't be like this asshole from earlier belittle me for not getting it right.
For not getting what right?
For getting shit that I'm trying to do right. Like this asshole earlier I was telling you about.
Okay.
I'm just...
You sound frustrated.
I am, and that it's hard for me to get the words out because I get singled out by for so much shit. Have you ever you've watched Family Guy, right?
Everybody tells me I should watch Family Guy, and it's the one reason why I don't watch Family Guy is because everybody's telling me to watch it. But I know I know what the show is.
But the family
gags on there, especially where
the family dynamic they have with where Meg is always the lightning rod.
Meg, she always, the girl.
Yeah, the daughter.
Yeah,
she's the one who gets harassed. She's the one that has their anger taken out on them.
Yeah,
there is an actual psychological term for that. It's called.
I know what you're talking about. No, there's a real good chapter in David Mamet's book, 2011, The Decline of the Secret Knowledge on the Dismantling of American Culture, and he talks about that one thing where there's like there's one kid in the family that everybody will dump on because it just seems like that's
it's called the identified patient. And that seems to leak out not just in my family life, but in pretty much every aspect. Like I was fired from the job I was telling you about with the bad customer, I was fired from that job for having telling a supervisor, not a manager. I don't even think she was a supervisor. She worked at the customer service desk while I worked at a cash register.
Yeah, is that the one that stole something?
No, this was one that told that what it was. She she asked me what time I wanted to go on break, and before I wanted to go after the other bagger because he'd been there like 2 hours before I got there.
Right.
So I tried to tell her that. Oh, shirts, I hate you. Yeah, I was just reading what Shirt said.
Oh, somebody else's.
That's just
I'm not even shit. I'm not even watching the chat.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm like, that's your job now, bro.
But I tried to tell her, that, well, I want to go after him. And before I could say that, she just started yelling at me to answer her question. Now we're on the floor.
How much time did you spend thinking about it?
Literally,
I'm
like
just asking. I'm not
5
saying
seconds. I tried to say, well, I want to go after him.
Yeah.
And before I could say that, she started yelling at me, and I told her, stop it. I said, stop right now. You're not going to yell at me on the floor. So she took me into the manager's office where they both yelled at me.
Yeah.
And we're walking out. She's like, well, you're going to go this time. And I looked at her and said,
why are you asking me what I want?
Well, no, it was the time I was trying to tell her I wanted.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like, if you're going to tell me when I'm taking break, then why are you asking me when I want to take a break?
I mean, we were agreeing. And then a few days later, I'm shopping there. I mean, I just got my paycheck, so I'm shopping. And I get called over to the office and told to clock in, which should have rang my alarms right then and there. And they fired me on the spot. And I went out.
Oh, come on. This is incredible. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I don't believe you, but like what level of Dante's Inferno does this grocery store exist in?
They exist as up until recently as the only choice you had in the area.
So you live in a one grocery store town?
Well, this grocery is about 10 miles from my house. The next one's probably about 15, 20.
Okay.
So you have to, I live.
And then that's just retail grocery.
Yeah. Just
that's
retail
not
grocery.
Like every other job that you could possibly get.
Yeah. See, most of the jobs are about 20, 25 miles away from where I live on the beach. Because it's two different towns. I live in town, and then you cross a bridge and you're in the beach.
Well, I don't want to dox you because nobody's really listening to this, but where are you?
Panama City, Florida.
Okay. Well, that sounds like fun.
You
could make a lot of money if you knew how to airbrush.
Oh, I've had a lot of people, a lot of friends do that. I just can't draw worth shit. But even then, if I all that
airbrush artists,
all that stuff's out on the beach, and I've worked on the beach.
Well, I know there's a place in the one Walmart in Panama City called Super Big Airbrush. They rent the space out from in there.
That's on the beach.
The Walmart is.
It's one of the Walmarts. We have 1, 2, 3 in town. We have 3 in town and 2 on the beach.
Okay.
And the 2 on the beach is where you go to get the airbrush stuff.
Okay.
But I've worked out on the beach. The pizza place was out on the beach, and I was paying for gas. I was working for gas, I mean.
Yeah.
So I try to stay in town. I try to look for jobs in town. Plus,
gotcha.
My car's a 2003 Grand Prix, which is about to die.
Well, yeah, because it's a 2003 Grand Prix.
The transmission's about to go out, so I'm having to do stuff with that. But
Pontiac.
Yeah, well, it's been a good car.
Yeah, I know. Pontiac there is no such thing as Pontiac hasn't been around since Obama was president.
Yeah, I think within 1 year, 2020, mid 2021, we had the car in the shop 3 times.
Yeah, it's time to. I mean, my mechanic was kind enough to me when my 2010 Blazer. No, was it 2004? No, it was a 94 Blazer. the last of the square bodies.
Yeah.
And he put it up on the lift. He goes, honestly, it's going to cost you more to fix this car than it would be to buy another one.
Yeah.
I was like, great. That's
Well,
all I
was
need
over
to
in
hear.
First problem was I was over in Pensacola. I spent like 2 weeks at a friend's house on vacation over there. And I go to leave to head back over here, and I hit a speed bump just like a block away from their house. And the push rod broke in the car.
And the push rod?
Yeah. Whatever.
Going over a speed bump?
Yep.
You know what a push rod is, right?
This is what the guy told me.
I'm just asking you. Do you know what a push rod is?
Not really.
It's inside the engine. It's the thing that's connected to the piston that pushes it up and down. Going over a speed bump, a push rod is going to break because the engine is under a great strain, not because you went over a pothole. Like my rear view mirror fell off. Like, I'm not telling you that. I'm not trying to like add to your woes or anything like that.
Oh, this car is going.
I can't remember who I was talking to the other day. I was like, yeah, I just went from like AT&T to this other cell phone plan, and I'm paying, X. And they're like, oh my God, you're paying too much for cell phone service. I'm like, I just went through 4 days of trying to switch my cell phone service over again. All the patience I could possibly muster in one human being, and it's me, which is already impatient. And you're telling me that I did the wrong thing.
Well, this is what the mechanic in Pensacola told us, and he fixed it, and it ran great. That part runs great. But then the power steering return line busted.
Okay. Yeah, so that's for the, you mean the power steering fluid?
Yeah, power steering fluid all over the driveway. Pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a while, my mom works in the school system, so her car got wrecked.
The lunch lady.
Well, no, it wasn't her fault.
Say it. Say she's a lunch lady.
No, she's not a lunch lady. She's a teacher's aide.
Okay. All right. Well, lunch lady would have been cooler, but whatever.
My grandmother was a lunch lady back in like the
now there 60s. You go.
But that's when they made real food.
Yeah. Right.
No, my grandmother, she'd get there early some days and would spend all the morning frying chicken for the kids, like real fried chicken for kids. But this was in the 60s.
Have you seen Mother Always? What is America's shirt saying?
I do not know. Don't get
America's Shirts is losing his ever-loving mind.
But
Mother always told me
I had to get up early to take my mom and niece to the school.
Yeah.
And I had popping in the wheel assembly of my front right wheel. So I told my dad, I called my dad. I always got the oil changed around the time school starts. And the mechanic tells me about it, and he said that can be a real problem if you don't get it fixed. He said that wheel can come off.
Yeah.
And I called my dad. I just left. I said, I'm not putting she was 6 at the time. I said, I'm not putting my 6-year-old niece in this car until you get it fixed. Because it's technically their car.
Yeah. And that's why I have a lease. Because the problems I don't want the problems.
And he's like, well,
it's my car. They own the problems.
It's my car, and you're gonna do what you're told. I said, I will throw the keys into the ocean before I let you put her in the car. And I hung up. Guess who was calling me back 2 minutes later to go to someplace and get that wheel fixed?
I can't imagine.
That was another $800 out of my pocket. In total, I put like $2,000 in that car in 1 year.
Yeah,
I'm not a car guy. I can check the oil. It's basically all I can do.
Oh, you've never no one has ever shown you how to do anything with your car?
My dad was gone all the time for work, so he was never around to show me.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, Mom. Everything that I ever learned about a car, anything that I ever learned about any car was from everything that ever went wrong with any of my cars.
Yeah.
The first car that I owned, I bought for $125.
Oh, wow.
It was at night. I had to ride my bike home from where I bought it, lift the plate off my mother's car, go back there, put it on that car so that I could drive it home. And when I finally got it home and parked it in front of the garage door, a white garage door, I saw this glowing. It was getting brighter and dimmer and brighter and dimmer, and I couldn't shut the car off. And then smoke, literally, I owned the car for less than 15 minutes. Smoke started coming out of the dashboard. And my buddy, because it was a stick, I didn't know how to drive a stick, so he drove it back. We get out, we're looking, the headlights are getting brighter and dimmer and brighter and dimmer. One of them was busted. The leads had been crossed, and every piece of wire and plastic and copper wiring from that headlight up until the steering column was all melted together.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so that was the first car I ever bought. And I was so naive. I thought, oh, it doesn't, I can wire this thing back together with butt splices and just a trip to Radio Shack, no big deal. 1979 Toyota Celica, which is weird because a lot of times, when you do those security things online and they like, what was the first car that you owned? I'm like, well, technically it was this Toyota, but it didn't really run. It was just, do I call that my first car? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a pain. It was a lesson learned, lesson earned. Yeah, it was a rough one.
I mean,
the next car I had, the thing that went wrong with it, transmission.
Yeah.
Expensive? You bet your ass.
No, my mom had, I think it was an Acura. I don't know exactly.
Ooh, sporty Honda.
No, this wasn't it. Not an Acura. Oh, I can't remember it. But my brother was driving it, and he fell asleep at the wheel and hit a telephone pole.
Nice.
So I had to pick up the slack, take my mom and niece to school and work.
Mm-hmm.
With no AC. And that's another thing. I don't have AC in my car anymore. Ugh, this Florida
You're
weather.
living a rough life, it sounds like.
It's pretty much, and it stems from.
When's it going to get better?
Once I find a steady job.
Yeah, and what kind of job is that going to be?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
What do you want it to be?
I'd love to go back into the media, but I don't want to go to the news media again.
Okay, so not news but media.
See,
I'm just doing a process of elimination.
Let me just share this with you. I graduated in 2006, made the mistake of going straight out to college. We have a little local state college out in town.
Uh-huh.
Picked a bad. I was a music major, and the music department sucked. The program was terrible. Plus, my first semester out there, my grandmother, who I was extremely close to, who had worked out there for 30, 40 years, passed away.
Uh-huh.
And I had some professors that understood and they knew I'd be gone for a while. I had my math professors who didn't give a shit. This is in 2006. And then the next year, my other grandmother dies. So I'm like, I don't need to be here. So I took about 5 or 6 years off. I worked about half that time. Then when I got fired from my last grocery store job, I'm like, maybe I need to go back to school. So I went back to school as a criminal justice major.
That sounds good.
Well, I did it for about a year, and then I had to do a humanities, which I chose understanding theater for my humanities. And I decided I made the genius call of transferring majors from criminal justice to theater.
Okay.
And I got my associates about a year and a half later in theater, in arts. And I thought, I had my associates. Maybe that'll open some doors for me. Nope, not really. So I'm hoping.
Why theater?
I love creating.
Okay. But there's other ways to create besides theater. Theater's kind of specific.
Well, yes and no. You do learn a lot of different skills that can apply to different things in the theater.
Well, yeah, like, and I'm not saying it's the same thing because it's not a college deal, but like, my daughter, she really digs the drama crowd in her school. But the last thing that she did that had, that caused, I don't want to say like caused any kind of stress or anything like that, but the thing that she did that she really enjoyed, but it was a lot more work, I think, than she thought it would be, was the set design. She was in charge of, not just what the sets are going to look like, but how they're going to get changed out when the lights go down. And
that was one of the hardest.
Who's going to be pulling this, pushing that, and
that was one of the hardest when I took the set design class.
Yeah,
that was one of the hardest semesters I ever took.
But was it rewarding personally?
Yeah, until my last semester.
Something.
Yeah, until my last semester when I was accused of Me Too'd. You see the shit I have gone through?
Yeah, well, I do, and don't take this the wrong way, because we all should. I think we all should think this way. I know that I'm only hearing one side of the story, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have been or should have been Me Too'd. There's just, it seems like there's a thing that always, like, there's this dark cloud hovering over you at all times that is unexplainable.
You're preaching in the choir with that one.
What's that one? I'm preaching. Well, yeah. So is it that's the case? And I'm not saying that you're doing anything wrong, but have you ever asked yourself if this is something that constantly happens? Is there something that I'm doing that I don't know about?
Many times I have sat down and wondered, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to change for this not to happen?
Mm-hmm.
And
what'd you come up with? If you came up with anything.
I don't know.
Okay.
One of my issues is I have trouble understanding I have trouble processing emotions.
Okay.
And one thing, we could be working on a project, and if I get angry, it's at myself for not, and we come to a problem, it's me getting angry at myself. I'm not getting angry at you or the project we're doing. I'm getting angry at myself for not getting this.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think
you vocalize it, or do you like act it out?
I get like frustrated. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Like, and grab the side of your head, like beating your head. Like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I've flat out told people, it's not you. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at me. I'm trying to get this because especially when I was in the theater, I was working alongside people that had much more experience than me.
Yeah.
That had 10, 15 years more experience.
Yeah, and you're trying to catch up.
Yeah, when I started in the theater department at the college, I went in there totally green. I had done a semester in my senior year, my final semester. I needed an extra class. I had my band class. I needed government to graduate. I had senior free.
It sounds like your typical college.
And I needed
stuff you need to take that you'll never use, but we said you need it.
So they stuck me in theater before I graduated high school, and that was all the theater experience I had until I joined back. But one thing my professor saw, he saw enthusiasm. He saw a enthusiasm to learn about all this.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have at the start of the school year, we'd have meetings where everyone in the fine arts division would get together, and then we'd break off in theater, art, or music and all that. And he was talking about, work ethic and stuff. And he points at me. He's like, I could ask him to do anything and he'll jump right up and do it.
Yeah, it's a good quality to have.
And I would always say I'm starving to learn all this. So
Okay, I understand that, but there is a thing that's it's a real. I mean, it's a real thing. Um, you have to be able to. It's called. Have you ever heard of a poison locker room?
no, I don't think I've ever heard of that term.
Okay, well, in this case, it doesn't necessarily. It's not necessarily what you're doing. A poison locker room has more to do with strong egos. You know, people who believe that they're awesome. You know, like a Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens. He loves. No one loves Terrell Owens the way that Terrell Owens loves Terrell Owens. And in that aspect, I don't believe that's what your issue might be. But the frustration can also poison, let's say, poison the locker room. It can affect the people around you. Okay, so I'll give you a for instance. Um, when I started airbrushing in 1990, the early 90s, and then I moved down here to around Pittsburgh, went to the Art Institute, and one of the jobs that I got over the summer was a friend of mine. He worked at Cedar Point. So I went down there, I interviewed. I didn't get the job right away because there was so much stuff that I didn't know, and they had people that were coming back, and I didn't realize it at the time. It was more of a favor my buddy was doing for me. So lo and behold, 2 weeks into the season, they have to fire two of their artists. So they
Mhm.
called me and one of my other friends, and we went up there and we're learning how to airbrush. And it's very frustrating because it's humid, which makes the paint do weird things. Of course, I don't
Yeah,
realize any of this until after I've pulled my hair out. The humidity makes the paint do weird things depending on the color of the paint. The moisture in the air of the air compressor, um, how the airbrush works, how much paint to use, and how fast you need to go, and all this stuff. And you're learning how to do this right out in the open, where you can hear people talk about what you're doing, not knowing that you're just learning how to do it.
yeah,
So you got to really, but and this is one of the things. Like I needed to catch up to everybody else who was way more awesome at this than I was. But on top of that, I was a smoker and you don't get to smoke. So you're doing the most frustrating thing that you're also
mhm.
passionate about. You're having a nicotine fit. It's hot as hell. You can hear people around you talking about, I want to get a shirt done, but I don't want him to do it. You know, and when you actually do get put on orders, you're trying to spell the names right, get the colors right, and know the design and stuff like that. And it's being thrown to the wolves, very frustrating. But there was a point, and I've always had the most respect for the bosses that I've had that had the patience, or not the impatience to do this, where they had to pull me aside and get in my face and tell me, you need to stop because you're upsetting everyone around you, even though you don't mean to. You're being frustrated. Okay, that's great. You're showing passion. That's awesome. But if you don't have any kind of emotional self control, that's that other people in the group pick up on that. It literally is like this energy or this vibe that you give off. And if that's what you're constantly doing, that is going to be that unnameable thing that people don't know how to describe, so that when they want to tell you what you're doing wrong, they don't actually know how to put it into words, because there really is no way to do it.
Mhm.
There, because what kind of sense would it make if I was to tell you, I love your enthusiasm, but it's because of your enthusiasm that we have to let you go because you're poisoning the pond.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And then in what you're, and of course, we don't really know each other really well. I'm just going on what you were telling before, the way that you process emotion or whatever. the way that people interact with you. But I do hear this pattern where somewhere along the line, somebody's giving you shit. You have no idea why. They're not explaining it to you. And then you're off to the next bad situation like that. It's like this lily pad hopping of doom. You keep going from one to the next to the next. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's your fault, but you just might not have been the benefit of the type of boss that I had, where they were actually being a really good friend. When you have a good friend who like grabs you by the lapels, throws you up against the wall, and tells you everything that's wrong with you, and you can tell that they're telling you that because they care about you. Like I've had like, I had a friend of mine in college. I was going through this like terrible breakup, which had more to do with me than it had to do with the other person. But she had to literally like pull me aside and say, look, this thing that you're doing to yourself is no good. It's not just no good for you. It's no good for anyone around you. And no one wants to be around you because you only exist to be this gelatinous goo on the floor of black, broken-hearted filth. You know what I mean? It's just like super negative. Nobody wants to be around you, and you're becoming your own worst social enemy. Now, she might not have known how to put it to me, but she actually knew that it was more important that it be put to me somehow than it be put to me in the most eloquent way. And it's one of the problems I think that people have today, is that there are so many people who are more worried about making sure that there's enough sugar coating on the tough love that other person needs, where what they really need is for someone to get in their face and say, look, you need to shut the fuck up. You need to pull your shit together. You need to let stuff slide off. That's like, if you see in my my Twitter handle, it says ID crisis is the duck's ass. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't
Have
think.
you ever heard of the
Oh, yeah.
phrase,
You let it roll off.
like water off a duck's ass? Exactly.
Yeah.
Because everybody is just as flawed as you are. Everyone is flawed. It's just a matter of degree.
Mm-hmm.
Where you might see somebody might be paralyzed from the waist down, but there are plenty of people who are paralyzed from the heart up, and they just don't know how to deal with certain things, and that, like you were talking about, like that's their bugaboo. And what are they supposed to do about it? In the end, you can't get anyone else to care about it more than you should. You are the person who's supposed to care about this stuff more than anybody else. I'm going to be right back. I gotta get a water. I'm talking.
You're good. Read the chat. Will you be the court jester, Shirts? Is that you want that job?
Better yet, a Miller Lite. That ought to keep me awake.
I'm just going through the chats or comments. I mean,
yeah, who's in there? Do you have a wrench?
Shirts and Cool Frog. I don't think so.
I'll have to remedy that. How come I can't see you in here? You're not chatting.
I'm reading the chats over here. Just reading Shirts and Cool Frog, what they were saying.
Oh, it's telling me how to.
That's cool for now.
No. I mean, like, if you're in the chat, say something so that I can.
I'm not in the chat. I was reading the chat over on here on StreamYards.
That's a private chat. Comments. No, what I mean is, I know I sound like I'm in a tunnel right now.
You're good.
Okay, that's not it. Let's go to my channel. Here, pause. Yeah, say, and moderator. I'll post. Put something in the chat. It could be anything. You could just hit the keyboard, but say something in the chat. There we go. There. There. You've been wrenched. I know if you're talking, I can't actually hear you. Yeah, I should be able to hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, now you can drop all kinds of nasty links in the chat and ruin my otherwise stellar reputation.
Yes, of course.
I know what you're all about.
If you asked the guy I was on whose stream I was on earlier, that's all I'm good for.
What is?
Just
putting weird stuff in the chat?
No, trying to. He was going on about how it was his show and blah blah blah. I'm like,
yeah,
yes, of course it is.
Hey, Outpost, stop bitching about shit all the time. This is my show. No, I know what you mean though, but seriously, it's like, all right, fine.
Oh no, he flat out just went on this rant at me, calling me a shit YouTuber who can't do shit, who's fucking pathetic.
You could say if somebody is a shit YouTuber, but then I repeat,
it's not saying, yeah,
because being a YouTuber is not like there's some people like, what is it like? I'm impressed, by the way, like Divinity and Expert, and they're already like up there over. Divinity is for sure, I think.
She said like I think 1,200 I saw.
Yeah, right. So now. Exactly, and so she's got a Okay, what am I missing here? Is that the right piece? No, that's the wrong piece. Took the wrong piece off. It's going to confuse me later. I think.
But so, I've working in the theater, I've got to meet interesting people. I've got to do interesting jobs. I did a local commercial for a plumbing company, which I made like $100 for like 2 hours work. The group Little Big Town? They're a country music group.
Yeah, I feel like I should know that name, so I'm going to say that I know that name.
They were like Little Big Town. They did a music video in a town nearby. I worked and got to meet them. It's
yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, so you're not like upset that you couldn't parlay that into something huger?
No, I've been in contact with the lady who's in charge of the state. Like she does the state tourist videos and all that, and I haven't gotten a job since, and that was probably 3-4 years ago.
Well, that's a cool thing about being in this country, even though there's probably more paperwork than any sane person wants to have to deal with. But, you could be self-employed and then not have to deal with bosses. The only problem there is that the customer becomes your boss. Don't let anybody tell you different. There we go. Don't let anybody tell you different. The customer becomes your boss. I shouldn't say like your boss, like really, but that's the person that you have to pay attention to. And like your boss at any other job, your customer will know nothing. You're lucky if they do know something. In fact, the last trike that I painted, the guy that I was doing the doing the work for, he had some experience with custom paint, and it was really quite refreshing.
Yeah.
Because there was just things that I didn't have to explain to him. I think I'm in trouble here. What did I do wrong? That goes on top of, I'm not seeing. Oh, is this wrong? Is this backwards? Sorry, I'm trying to figure this. What did I do wrong here? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is right. I think this is right. There's no way this makes sense. But yeah, so it was easy for me to say to him, the reason you want it to be done this way or this way or this way is because A, B, and C. And he would have been able to, oh yeah, sure, I get that because I've been there before. I've got experience in this thing.
That's kind of what like my dad is. My dad's the kind of guy, he'll hire somebody to do a job and then watch them every step of the way.
Yeah, because you're learning something, right?
Well,
And
that
and not because you're not even really accusing them of doing it the wrong way or something like that. It's just a matter of
he wants it done his way. He's the paying customer. Like the one time he didn't
yeah,
do it
you know what I mean. Like when somebody says the customer is always right, they're
after
not.
after the hurricane a couple years ago. We had a group. There was a group that came in and they were clearing trees, and they tore up our driveway. And the
Why
guy,
does that sound perfectly normal to me?
the guy comes up to my dad. Hey, you need to sign this so our bosses know you're satisfied. My dad's like,
But I'm
no,
not though.
I'm not signing shit. And they get all pissy. Oh, we've come from hundreds of miles to down here to help
Yeah,
you.
yeah. We came from hundreds of miles away to fuck your shit up so that we can feel good
Even
about
worse than it
ourselves.
already is. I said, I piped up, which is I don't do very often. I said, that does not mean you can scream and yell at us and break our shit. Go
Yeah,
on.
yeah. No, I get it.
Because after
Listen,
the hurricane, we had people as far from away as Arkansas or Missouri come in and we're working in our area cleaning up. So we had a lot of people, but this guy was just
yeah, I know. An amazing,
awful.
what do they call it? A glimmering jewel of colossal ignorance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was one, it was that was the only time I ever saw my dad with a tear. One of the only times besides funerals that I saw a tear in my dad's eye. My dad
Oh,
looked at my mom and said, "If I'd known it was this bad, you and his granddaughter, my niece, would have been out. My mom and my niece would have been gone. But
oh, from
they would have been out of
from
town
they
when
can
that
see it
hurricane hit.
happen.
It was a lot worse than people. The hurricane when it hit was a lot worse than people thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, man, I'm glad. That's one of the things. It's like, well, I guess it all evens out. I was explaining to my wife yesterday. We were out to dinner, and I was talking to her about the comic book, and the reason I want to do it besides custom paint is because the comic book is something that you can reach. It's easier to reach markets outside of where you live.
yeah,
And just by virtue of the way that they're sold over like crowdfunding and things like that, and unless you're willing to physically mail something out, fresh paint or
yeah,
motorcycle parts or whatever, a lot of people aren't willing to risk that kind of a transaction when there's plenty of local guys that do what I do in the first place.
Mhm.
So um,
It's like
and
Ethan Van Sciver. He's been working on his Cool Frog, his Cyber Frog. Cool Frog. Who wants to make a comic about
Cool
Cool Frog?
Frog. Who the hell is that?
He'd been working on his Cyber Frog comic for years, and
Yeah,
it was just
no, for real. I think it's right within reach. I
I think
still have
he's
to
been
go through this.
yeah.
I actually have the first issue. I found it at a
Oh, that's so cool.
I found it at a little convention down here in Pittsburgh, but like this whole first episode here, this whole thing's like it's all colored in. Harris Comics put it out. I was just going through a couple of long boxes, like, oh, I don't even know if I'm going to get anything, but I saw this like Cyber Frog #1. I was like, yep, mine. Yeah.
But it comes down to I'm the kind of guy that really, if you're stuck on the side of the road at midnight in the middle of the woods with a flat tire,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be there with a tire jack and a Coke for you.
Yeah, you know what I am? I'm the kind of guy who would normally do that, but I'm the kind of guy who thinks about it twice.
And I'm getting to that point. I give to people what they give to me. If you want
Uh-huh.
to, you can be the nicest person, but once you start
You're doing that pay
acting
it
like that
forward.
streamer
You're
from
doing that pay
earlier,
it forward shit.
yeah. Once you start acting like that streamer from earlier, I'm not gonna hold back.
Hey,
I'm not.
don't take this the wrong way, but I gotta ask. Do you hoard? And I
No,
don't mean like physical, like are you a hoarder, like you belong on the Discovery Channel or
yeah.
something like that? What I mean is like, do you hold on to this stuff? Like these bad times that you have here and there with the with streamer job or whatever, would you consider yourself the type of person that just doesn't let that kind of stuff go?
No, no, but I do keep it in mind. One, I tried to learn from it, so I try to.
Why
I
isn't
don't
this
know.
working?
I don't think I did. I don't think I am, but I've had people just huge flat out fights with people, bad on both sides, and then I try to put it behind me and move on.
This
You
is
know,
where everybody in the stream cheers that I stabbed myself with this X-Acto knife. No, I mean, like I know it doesn't actually say anywhere in the. Isn't this supposed to slide in here? I think. Yeah, there we go. Um, there's no place in the Bible where it says forgive and forget, but you forgive,
I
yes,
forgive, but I do not
but
forget.
remember, for the future, you know what I mean? Like remember what happened so that
Yeah,
you don't go through that shit again.
yeah.
This is the right arm, I think. So I want the trigger finger on this guy. Move. It's coming along. All right. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, it's geez, man, I could tell you what the last I consider it to be like to this point the largest pie in the face, Susie Van Pelt pulling the football away moment,
mhm.
where I had planned on quitting my job so that I could do this custom paint thing in a location that was really good, in a shop situation that was really good.
Mhm.
Um, and I was there for a year, paid rent, and then whenever the guy who it was my one of my oldest, best customers heard me for the entire year tell him, tell my customers, tell my job for a year, okay,
Yeah.
that I planned on quitting this job and doing this custom paint thing full time. Um, I mean, I made enough money where I was able to pay off this piece of shit house, and waited until I put my 2 weeks in at my job. Like I didn't put my 2 weeks in. I told them I'm going to take my vacation, and when I come back, I'm going to put in my 2 weeks, and then I'm leaving. I'm going to go do this thing. 2 days after I let my job in on that whole thing,
Yeah.
this guy says to me, "Well, your rent's going to go from 500 to 1150."
Damn.
I know. And it wasn't even like I'm not even disputing that the space isn't worth it because there's a brand new spray booth, there's a mixing system. He was doing his own stuff out of there too. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I was, he asked me if I wanted to come in there, if I wanted to be, part of this opportunity. I was like, yeah, why not? I've known you forever. Um, it's not that the space wasn't worth it. It's the way the whole thing came down. Like I wouldn't even do that to a common. You know what I mean? Like I would
Mhm.
have enough. I would have enough just empathy that there's another person who has a family and there's a livelihood here. They're making a huge life decision. I would not wait all that. And we're talking about somebody who's experienced here. We're not
Mhm.
talking about somebody who's never had a real estate deal. This person does not put his name on the dotted line unless he knows he's going to come out ahead in the end. But I honestly think, and I can't say for sure because I'm no doctor, but I think it had to do with the fact that I was making more money off of this situation than he was making off of it. Regardless of that, the building that we were in, he was collecting rent off of two other people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he was making money off of the entire deal, but I was making more money off of it, my part of it, than he was. You know what I mean? And so that's this weird, uh, ego with a dollar sign in front of it thing that I honestly cannot wrap my mind around because, like I said, I would not listen to somebody who I consider to be my friend go through this thing that's going to be a major life decision and then wait until the very last second and then go, oh yeah, by the way, your math is all going to be screwed. Because I'm leaving. I was going to. I mean, I'm still at this job. It's a good job, but I was going to be giving up like good health insurance for the entire family. Like year-end bonus, really good. It is a good, as far as jobs go. It's a good job. Okay, it doesn't excite me or anything like that,
Yeah.
but I can do it, and it's not a hard job. It's good. I'm glad that it's there, but you just don't do that to somebody. You know what I mean? You don't listen to them, talk to all their past, present, future customers, all of their contacts, and you, and the guy, tell them what all your plans are, and then wait until the last second, and then do that, Charlie Brown thing, pull the football away. I haven't talked to him since.
God, I couldn't imagine going
Yeah,
through that.
that doesn't mean that I don't want him to do well.
Yeah.
But it does make you, you know, it's like, a dog gets a dog gets, smacked for some reason or whatever. He doesn't show up again without his tail between his legs. All right, what's going to happen? Could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was
It's
one of the
with
most
me.
unpleasant surprises. Like, oh,
With
really?
me, I'm
Okay, well, I
always
guess I'm not quitting this job.
with me. I'm always expecting the bottom to fall out because usually it
Well,
does.
yeah. See, and I mean, I wasn't expecting the bottom to fall out, which is one of the reasons it made it so, surprising to me. If it was a stranger, I would have been a lot more wary, but this wasn't that. This was, again, it was like somebody that I knew. He was probably a quarter of my book, for the year, because I did stuff for PPG Paint through him. And it was a decent piece of. Anytime I had something going on, if he called me and said I need this, I dropped what I was doing and I did that first, because I knew that there
Mm-hmm.
was more than just money behind it. Like he was PPG never, they always let him know late, so he let me know late, so I got on it as fast as I could so that I could meet a deadline so that he wouldn't look bad. And and all of those factors involved to have something like that happen, just yeah, it was just it just blew my mind. D1. So, but I
Yeah.
don't expect the bottom to fall out of everything. I just but that one, I kind of feel like I should have known better. Excuse me, because my entire life I'd always heard like, yeah, you better be careful. It's one of those things like, well, might be a snake, and it's probably okay if you know how to handle them. You know. Anyways, you keep going. I'm doing too much talking and not enough
You know,
model building.
I've talked to people. They actually had a doctor diagnose me with paranoia. And I just looked at him and said, "How is it paranoia when it happens all the time? When
Yeah,
it
like
actually happens."
what's the saying? Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not watching.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, I mean, honestly, I mean, somebody would. Do you Can you blame anybody for saying to you, "Okay, Outpost, all these terrible things are happening all the time. I've never heard of anything like this happening, anything bad like this happening to anybody with such great regularity as you." There's got to be, it's got to be something that you're doing, or you're just seeing things differently and you're assuming that it's other people, or, you know, if you heard all of this coming up from somebody else, would you be saying, "Yeah, I totally get it. Me too. It happens to me all the time. You're not wrong," or would you be like, "Huh, it just isn't it's like the probability isn't there. Or what am I thinking of? The chances are pretty low that this kind of bad luck is going to befall somebody this with this kind of regularity."
I
You
don't
know what I
know.
mean? Like if somebody came to you sounding like you, would you be agreeing with them, or would you be like, "I don't know, man. It sounds like." It's got to be something
One
else.
thing I'd ask him is what you asked me earlier. How much of it do you feel it's you're doing?
Right.
Which
Yeah,
I
legitimate
will
question.
never say 99.9% of my problems are me.
Yeah.
I'll never not say that. It's that 0.1% that I sometimes feel like that's where the avalanche starts.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you say if it's going to be if it's the 0.1% or if it's the 1%, but it's the 1% that you're talking about all the time. And when I say all the time, I'm not being literal. But just to say like tonight,
Yeah.
and when I hear you on other streams, this seems to be I don't want to say a pattern, but it's a um I don't have the right word. I know it's in there somewhere. Maybe I would say that. Like maybe it is a pattern that this is a subject matter that you talk about more often than you don't. Do you think that that's true or no?
I usually don't get to talk much during those other streams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll shut up.
Um, no, it's
No,
not
I
you.
know. I'm kidding.
It's not you. Um, that's why Expert called me Outburst for a while.
Outburst. Well, yeah. I mean, you have to be able to. I mean, the whole reason why we're on these streams is so that we can talk. It's one of the nice things about the technology. We feel like we're being heard.
But and
I don't know if
that's one issue with me. I don't feel like I'm being heard a lot in my personal life.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's like how can I describe this without sounding pathetic?
See, now there's the real trick.
Yeah, it's
I
like
used
you're
to do that
straight.
all the time. Like when I was in, when I first started going to college, and I waited a good 2 or 3 years before I started going.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the kids that I was in college with were all, we'll put it this way, I was their good friend because I was old enough to buy beer. Okay, but
Yeah.
whenever we're doing that whole talking about war stories and where you come from, and the shit you had to put up with your parents, after a while, and I've got some good ones, and I can explain it to like I got into it a little bit the other night, like the satanic panic, and this is the reason
Mhm.
why I feel like I'm out of my element when I'm talking about comic books and stuff, is because I was never actually able to collect them. And okay, fine, great, and that's a good story and whatever. But after a while, it just, to
Hold
me,
on.
it
He
sounded
actually
like,
thought
man,
that,
aren't you
Expert.
sick? Aren't you
Hold on.
sick of telling everybody?
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Diva actually thought my name was Outburst.
Did I?
Okay, that makes sense.
Did
That makes a
I?
lot more sense, Expert. Sorry, I
No,
just
I
saw
didn't. No,
that.
yeah. No, I didn't think it was.
Diva did.
Oh, yeah.
But
No, but my point is
yeah.
is that there was a point where I stopped, and I was like, I kind of like listening to the way that I sound. I'm like, oh my god, it sounds like you're fucking whining about your shit all the
Mhm.
time. Like, when are you going to get over the fact that mommy didn't let you buy comic books? I mean, and there's like deeper issues and stuff like that. I can get into where are you actually being ignored? Do your parents actually give a good goddamn about the things that you're into, or do they only care about your talent as far as they can impress their friends with the things that you know how to do? Stupid stuff like that, right?
And with my folks, my dad's he's like you, mechanically inclined.
This is model building. I'm not mechanic. I mean, I'm only mechanically inclined to the extent that I it goes like this. You can either afford to have somebody work on your car, or you've got the time to learn how to do it yourself.
See, and that's one thing. My dad, he's getting up in age, and he sends the car off to the garage. His to the mechanic to get
Yeah.
the oil changed and stuff. I looked at him one day. I said, "Dad, let me do it. I can do this. Just show me how to put the car on the jacks again. Just so I can remember.
Yeah.
And let me get under the
Yeah,
cars.
so you don't hurt yourself.
No, I want them taken here. One, he won't let me help.
Yeah, well,
my dad's a good man. He's a hardworking man. He's very protective of everything he's earned from working all his life for, which is understandable.
Consider him to be materialistic, or that he just cares about his investments? Like, does he care about things more than he cares about people?
I think he's the kind of person that if it does not interest him, it's not worth it.
Well, I mean, everybody's like that, but I mean, what I mean is, does he care more about his things more than he cares about being able to more than he can like experience those things with you? Like, come over here, son, and let me show you fill in the blank.
Not so much. He is like the other night. He and my mom got in a discussion. Is
that
you can either go out the huh?
Is that what the kids are calling it now? A discussion? I need to have a discussion with my wife one of these nights. I'm gonna get her.
I was taking the trash out.
Discussion with her.
One of my things I do around here is I take the trash out. No big deal. Do it every time, every trash night, day before trash day. I can either go out the front door and go all the way around the house, or open the garage door and be right there at the trash can. So, and we have a freezer with all sorts of stuff out in our garage with ice.
Oh yeah, man, the freezer.
So I go out there with my cup and I open the garage door, throw the trash out, grab my ice out of my cup, and go inside. Why are you going through the garage door? You're just wearing it out. Blah, blah. I'm like, Mom looks at him and says, "Why are we going to have something and not use it?"
Okay, so you're getting shit for going through the garage door to take things through the garage door to where the garbage cans are.
Yeah.
What? The man door?
Yeah, pretty much. I would have to go out the front door and then go all the way around the house.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so that sounds, you know what, I would say your dad's paranoid. Congratulations, you come full circle.
Well, he has a kind of a right to be, because just things have happened over the past few years,
He has a right to be paranoid?
He has a right to be, not paranoid, I don't think is the right answer, to be protective of things.
Okay. You're talking about like the hurricane and stuff? Yeah,
the hurricane, and then a few years before the hurricane, we have another house. When my grandmother died, we have a house in town that my brother lives in that my mom inherited. And it caught fire one night.
The hits keep on coming with you, man.
Yeah. Get this. Across the street from the house is the local ballparks. Yeah. I was playing church league softball one night, and I see just zooming down the road three fire trucks. And I'm sitting behind. I was a catcher. I was sitting there behind the plate, and I'm thinking, "Oh, it sucks to be them." And I look at where they stop.
Famous last words.
I'm like, "Oh shit!" And I think to myself, I turned to the pastor. I said, "I have to go." And
there comes that sinking feeling again.
The storage room had caught fire. Nothing too bad, just a lot of smoke damage.
What overhead caught fire?
The storage room. It was
okay.
I think it was electrical wire, and some old books and old papers caught fire. And there's a lot of smoke damage and little water damage when they had to bust in. But I was more worried about my niece, because my niece was not even a year old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so my brother and his family had to move back up here with us for a while, which was fun.
I'll bet. That's got to be kind of a stressful situation, because it's not just finding space physically for people, but you have to find space for the egos.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean, like, people's personalities have to fit somewhere.
Me and my brother, we don't get along that well.
Somebody who's out of work might end up sounding more proud than they should be because it's a compensation for the way that they feel for being out of work.
Yeah.
And
My
they're
dad's
like,
retired
nobody's
now.
comfortable with what's happening to them.
My
So,
dad spent like 35 years as a airline pilot. And so he's retired now, and he's the kind of guy that, well, he's about to turn 70 and he'll go out and do stuff. So I'm always checking on him. I'm always helping him out as much as he'll let me. It's like a few weeks ago, I hear him, he's riding around on his lawnmower, and then all of a sudden I hear it stop. So I go outside to check. There's a little hill in where there are the ditches in our front yard, and there we have the end of the fence, and then about 3 feet away from the end of the fence is a lamp post, and it's a little incline, steep incline, and he had hit that incline, and the dirt gave way, and he wrapped it, slid, and it wrapped the machine, the lawnmower wrapped around the fence post.
okay.
So he had to get in his truck. We had to latch it to his truck, and a guy who was doing yard work a few houses down came up and helped us. And it was just a pain. So I help him out every chance I get. I'm not sitting at home just pouting, and
Right.
I do shit I do a lot of shit around here. And it's like we have about a hill that's about a 45-degree angle in our side yard that I have to do a push lawnmower. I have to cut with that every couple of weeks, which sucks.
I was going to do mine today, but then I remembered it was Father's Day, and fuck that.
I try to put that hill off as much as I can, but
you should get married and have kids. The cool stuff that you can get away with one day out of the year, it's worth it.
Yeah, well, I almost became a father last year.
No, I was kidding.
No, well,
really, the one day out of the year isn't worth it.
My girlfriend at the time, she takes medicines for seizures, and that messes up all her flow and everything. That messes up a woman's flow and everything.
Okay.
So she's visiting her kids up. She's from a previous marriage up in Tennessee, and she has this bad stomach pain that was so bad she had to go to the emergency room. Doctor said, you were 4 months, 4, 5. She was like 5 or 6 months pregnant.
Okay.
We didn't know. Because her medicine.
Before I didn't know I was pregnant.
It was her medicine. She was still having her.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be on like the that whole long paragraph of side effects don't take if you are planning to be or expect to be pregnant.
And that's exactly what it was. And you could have knocked me over with a feather when she told me that. That was one of the only times I'd ever been speechless. Baby would have been born around this time.
Wow.
Would have been a year old around this time. I mean, sorry.
Hey, do you drink at all?
Socially every once in a while.
Okay, I was going to say, don't go heavy on that stuff.
No.
You don't. I don't think you should be. Just your whole.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be laughing about. I'm just saying, like, man, your whole thing is topsy turvy.
I think the last time I drank was at my 10-year class reunion a couple of years ago.
10 years, huh? How'd that go? Did you like it?
Oh, it was great. I had a lot of friends. I didn't graduate from the high school. I had changed high schools my junior year.
Okay.
They still let me go. They still was like, hey, I was friends.
I was just about to say, why don't you tell me a good story? And, and there is one. I just wish it wasn't so short.
These were friends that were like people I had known since elementary school, middle school. Then we went out to a bar and just had fun for the night. It was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I drove 3.5 hours because it was me driving up to Western New York, and this is a long. This is a while. I mean, I graduated in like '89, and it was like the 25-year anniversary.
I was 2.
But it was just like I hadn't seen these people, and I was actually telling my wife about it last night. This one girl that I'd never bothered to talk to just because She didn't seem standoffish. She always just seemed like it was the type of person that you just you don't you don't talk to Stephanie Strickland because she's on the gymnastics team and blah blah blah. And come to find out, she was like this really low key, like very talented but low self esteem. Ended up with this kid that I'd known since I was in like elementary school, biggest dick in the world. And I'm like, yeah, I always wondered what you were doing with that dude. And she goes, me too. So you know what I mean? Like this is you talk to the people that you want to talk to or that you expected to, like your best friends that were there, and like they were there when you popped this cherry and that one and smoked your first this and drank your first that or whatever. But then this, like the most interesting conversation I had with anybody up there was the person that I never talked to when I was in high school at all.
I had a friend, this guy in middle school and high school. I hung out with him. He was the kind of guy. He was part of every social group. He was liked by everybody, and he liked everybody.
I hate that guy.
This guy, he played varsity football,
and
then he'd go before halftime and run and get his band uniform and grab a sousaphone and perform.
Oh yeah, the tuba that you wear.
Yeah,
my kid plays that, or at least he did. Like he was I played tuba, marching band in high school, and then went to WVU. So he was in that band for the first 2 years of school, and he was like, screw this, I'm not doing it anymore. You know what it's like to have to run around a freaking football field wearing that thing?
Yes.
Wearing a freaking sousaphone? Oh my God.
No, hold on. I'm going to say this. I played baritone.
Piece of metal. It's the biggest piece of metal in the entire band, and you have
to. But you get to wear it. You don't have to carry it. You can just put it on your shoulder. I played baritone.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I played baritone, so I had about 15 pounds I had to carry. So me and him would argue about it. But he's almost 7 feet tall, black guy, arms the size of tree trunks. Looks like he could rip you apart. But he's the sweetest guy you ever knew. He looked at me one time. He said, dude, there's only 2 people I'm afraid of in my life. He said, my mom, and his mom was your typical Southern black lady.
Yeah.
Sweet. He looked at me.
My favorite kind.
Straight faced and said, and your mom. My mom is a short 5'0" Irish lady. Dumpy Irish lady.
Is she, so she's Irish, but she's a woman?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe it. No, seriously, Irish tempers are nothing to be trifled with. I'm not
redhead too.
I'm not a fan.
Redhead too.
That's what I mean. A redheaded Irish chick.
Yeah.
That's not. I mean, there's the nuclear arsenal that we have in the United States, and then there's all the redheaded Irish chicks that we have in the United States.
With a bit of German
I'd
thrown
rather
in
have
for good measure.
Dropped on me.
My great 3-time great grandparents came over from Germany at the turn of the century. So they came over before the Nazis took over.
Okay.
But he went on to play for Miami. He was a lineman for Miami University. One of those South Florida. But then he played in the NFL for
going to be the Seminoles.
No, not the Seminoles. Not the Gators.
Or the Hurricane.
Yeah, it was the Hurricanes.
Okay. That's a big school.
FSU is my team, my state team, I should say.
Florida State is the Seminoles, right?
Yeah. They're they tried to change. People tried to pull that shit, wanting to change the school name.
Yeah.
But the tribe told the university, says, if you change the name, we're taking every cent we put into the school somewhere else.
Yeah, good for them. Fuck that shit, and I hate that.
They're proud of it.
Yeah, and why not?
We had one of the best coaches in college football history, Bobby Bowden. He was a great coach. Took us to multiple championships before he retired.
I never really followed college football, but I know that if you're really a football fan, that's what you follow.
Do you ever see that Matthew McConaughey movie, We Are Marshall?
I wanted to. I mean, I know what it's about, but yeah, I
Well, Bobby
wanted to. I
Bowden
haven't
was
seen
the
it.
coach.
I'll have to real good that.
Bobby Bowden was the coach of University of Marshall's main rival, cross-state rival. And
Mm-hmm.
after the football team died, he actually let the coaches come to the university. Now, this is like if something happened at FSU and the Gators were like, "Hey, we'll help you out, FSU."
Yeah.
And Bobby Bowden actually let them come over and watch their game tapes and get all the information. It was such a cool thing. He was a class act, but this guy, it was great. I got to see him for the first time in a long time at the reunion. I could email him right now and we could talk. He's just that kind of guy. You working on a leg now?
Yeah, this is a leg. The pictures are. I'm getting ahead of myself, I think. But there's this thing where you're like, oh yeah, it looks like if this was a real machine, it would work this way. It won't be long now. I know I'm getting there. But yeah, I mean, I got some buddies like that. But I don't. I mean, it's just like I don't call them. It's
Well, I haven't seen him.
it would be the same. Like if you did, get in touch with them, it would be like nothing changed. Everything is the same,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and all that. But okay, I missed something. This
We went on band trips together. Had this. Every spring break we'd have band trips somewhere, and there was one band trip our sophomore year when we went to Washington D.C. And me, him, and a couple other guys, we were in a room together, and we decided we're not going to sleep.
yeah,
We're going to see how
always
long
the best decision.
we're going to see how long we can go to sleep,
Or
or we
no, how
can't. We
long
can
you
go
can
without
go
sleep.
without it? Yeah.
Yeah, and we went about 3 days before we started getting that natural high.
Yeah, you start tripping because you didn't get any REM action.
Yeah, we watched that Pauly Shore movie Biodome on night 2, and it was the funniest thing. We could not stop
You're
laughing the whole time.
probably funnier because you were like on,
Exactly,
yeah, no sleep.
because we were watching this comedy showcase, and this Asian comedian was talking about his day job is he's a doctor, and he was talking about how he has to have tact when he's talking. He's like, if you don't lose weight, you're gonna have heart problems and knee problems. But he's like, what I really want to say, man, if you don't lose weight, you're gonna have to get a Chinese midget to wash your balls. And we laughed at that guy's joke. But then we're watching
Was that
Bio,
Oriental dude that sounds like he's from Texas?
Henry Cho.
Yeah.
No, he's actually from Tennessee. But no,
Okay.
this is a different guy.
Same
I love Henry Cho. He's
same
hilarious.
concept though. He's
Yeah.
sounds like an American.
But we're watching Biodome just about an hour later, and we see a Chinese midget walk across the screen, and we just look at each other. It takes a few seconds to register, and we just start. We're dying laughing for like half an hour. But it was one of the
Last time I laughed at a movie to where I thought I was going to like lose my shit. It was we just went to see Maverick.
that Mel Gibson movie.
Maverick?
Oh,
No, Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick. Okay, because there's the Mel Gibson movie called Maverick. That's confused me.
Yeah, James. Oh shit.
Garner.
Yeah, James Garner and right.
Great movie. I love that.
No,
movie.
this is just something that seems to happen every once in a while. We go to a movie. Last time this happened, we went to see Bandits with my buddy Skip. And okay, what am I doing wrong here? We went to see Bandits with my buddy Skip. And there was a part of the movie where, oh, I see, I put stuff together before I should have put stuff together. So this goes like this. Okay, anyways, there's a part of the movie where Billy Bob Thornton's character he's neurotic. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
He's a hypochondriac. He's a mental marshmallow, basically, this guy. Very charming character and everything like that. But there's this part of the movie where everything is absolutely silent right before he wakes up. It's just his face on the screen. He's sleeping on the sofa, and he just all of a sudden wakes up and goes, "Beavers and ducks." But right before he says that, the guy in the row right behind us farted. And you could tell it was one of those where it's like, oh no, I don't want this to come out, but oh well, here we go. Just a little one like that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help it because right at the moment where this, beavers and ducks, I would hear this fart, then this is like a long time ago. My wife and I were only just dating.
Yeah, it was 2001 the movie was out.
Yeah. It's a good movie. It's funny. It's, and then we don't usually go out to movies. I think the last time we went to see a movie together, we saw 28 Days Later together. We saw that movie together, and it's been a long time. So last weekend, we go out there, Top Gun Maverick. And at the quietest part of the movie, and it's just one of those moments where there's a dramatic pause.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody like 5 or 6 rows back. And I mean, it was the more, because I was like, all right, I'm going to try to concentrate on this movie while I'm laughing my ass off. But the more I thought about it, I was like, that guy is my hero, because it wasn't one of those, oh no, I can't believe I farted farts. It was I planned on this the day I knew I was coming to see this movie. I'm going to wait until, and I was like, this is the guy who always does this. I kept filling in more and more details about this person who farted in the middle of Top Gun Maverick. And the more I thought about it, and the more I deconstructed the fart, the cooler this guy became to me. I'm gonna wait. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. And maybe there was this discussion between him and his wife / girlfriend where she goes, I want to see that movie. I really want to see that movie. You're not gonna fart in the middle of it again, are you? I was like, yeah, sure, honey. No, I'm not gonna fart in the middle of the movie.
You remember that movie, that Seth Rogen movie, This Is the End?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that movie.
You saw it,
right? I think I watched it on cable here.
Well, you didn't see the ending in all its glory.
I remember the acid trip.
No, at the end when the demon comes out of the earth, that giant demon, and it's just swinging.
Yeah, I remember.
Me and my 4 friends were seeing it, and the 2 guys behind us, their commentary was hilarious, more hilarious than the movie. When that demon comes out and you see that slong just flinging that 10-story long slong, guy behind us says, that's the second biggest dick I've ever seen. And we start cracking up. It was hilarious. Well,
I remember thinking the movie was kind of clever, although that was it wasn't even like Seth Rogen. It wasn't what's his face, James Franco, or anything like that. It was the other kid, the one that played Danger in $1 Million Baby, that skinny one.
I've seen. He was in How to Train Your Dragon too.
But he did a voice or something.
Yeah. Oh.
Dude, I am fucking this thing up. That's not how this goes.
What is his name? Jay Baruchel. I can't never pronounce his name. Jay.
Yeah, it wasn't like Jack and Mary Make a Porno, or no, it was She's Out of Your League. I think he was in that.
I'll put it in chat, his name in chat.
There we go. I screwed this up.
I can never pronounce his name. But it's just oh my God. I remember I talked my 2 friends into going to see Green Lantern.
Yeah. Bad decision, huh?
I'm sitting there thinking halfway through the movie, oh my God, they're gonna kill me. This sucks.
Did you like it? You didn't like it?
I thought
I'm not saying that you should or you shouldn't. I'm just curious.
I thought there was so much more they could have done with it. I thought they really took a character and really limited it. I guess maybe that was money-wise, but Ryan Reynolds says he hates that movie. He said the only
Well,
good thing.
yeah, I mean, he's got that whole like the joke in Deadpool about don't
Yeah.
make my costume green or animated, and
Well, there's at the end of Deadpool 2, when Deadpool gets the time machine, he's going through time doing stuff.
yeah,
And I love the scene where it shows Ryan Reynolds reading the script. He's like, "Oh, you made it, kid." And he closes it and it says Green Lantern. And all of a sudden you hear a boom, a gunshot and blood. And it from behind it has Ryan Reynolds just falls face flat on the desk, and Deadpool with the gun, he's like, "You're welcome, America."
you're welcome.
But Ryan Reynolds said the only thing good that came out of that movie was Blake Lively, meaning he met his wife doing that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said that's the only good thing that came out of
Yeah,
it.
she was she was the general's
Carol,
daughter or
Carol
something.
Danvers, yeah. But
Okay.
I'm gonna head out. It's 1 o'clock here.
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. I might end this thing too, just because I'm running into the spot where I missed something and I got to go back, and I'm like right here. I mean, right here. I'm like, something's not working out right. I did something wrong. I need to reread stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna try something on YouTube before I go to bed. But I'll talk to you later, dude.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hanging out. Talk to
All
you
right,
later.
later.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, you guys are in the chat. You're not in the actual show. That's cool. I don't care. That's fine. We don't have to hang out like real people or anything like that. But yeah, I'm gonna throw this to the end. It's just taking me too long to get this thing together. What is it? 3.5 hours, and I can't get this model put together. Anyways, thanks for being around. It's let me see. Here we go. Settings. Let me have the good sense to yeah. Let me have the good sense to talk you into the microphone here. Send you off properly. Thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you guys later, probably in a week if I know how this works. Schedules being what they are. Happy Father's Day.